Another day, another drop bomb.
Another holler. Wait. Another,
More hollers,
yeah.
more problems. Wait.
More. Yeah, that's right. Holler. Shit. I don't know why I just started going on the holler route. I have nothing for the word holler. I got nothing.
Dollar?
No.
No, that wouldn't work.
That's stupid. You dumb.
Caller?
Oh, caller ID.
Holler at me.
Holler. Baller OG. What are we doing? Are we doing rhymes? What's going on?
It seems like it, but
okay.
You know, I don't know what the end goal is.
I don't either. Maybe we should just introduce ourselves.
Okay, I'm Brandon.
Hi, I'm Ian.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
You're watching DrawBomb. Nice to meet you too.
How's it going?
Welcome to. It's going good.
Enough about them. I want to talk to you.
Oh well, I want to talk to you too. I had a week.
Okay. You talking about the artificial construct known as time?
Yeah, time is just a thing we all made up so that we can give ourselves the illusion of control over the passage of matter.
Boy, don't I know it. Anyways, how was that week of yours?
It was alright. I mean, it could be better, it could be worse.
Mine couldn't be worse. No, I'm just kidding. I was fine. It was good.
You'll never believe what happened to me.
There I was. When I got a ticket for parking my car on a pedestrian, and then a bird pooped on me.
Oh.
And finally, there was a big line at Subway.
That's the
worst day of my fucking life.
I hate waiting for the subway.
Yeah. Takes forever.
Takes forever for the car to come, and then they're like, "Do you want bacon on that?" And I'm just like, "No, I'm trying to get to work, asshole."
I have to use public transportation.
Yeah.
And then they toast it.
And then they toast the public transpo, and then you're just like, shit, it's so hot in here. I might as well take off all of my clothes.
And then you do.
I am. I had a dumb joke I was going to make, and now I forgot that joke. Oh, well, that happens every episode at least 5 times. I'm like, I was going to say a thing off the powder.
Well.
You know what? I know what I did this week. I was being taught how to Dougie.
So would you say you know how to Dougie now?
Well, see, here's the thing. I started learning, and then somebody comes up, and they're just like, you know who likes the Dougie, don't you?
Are you asking me?
Well, they asked me, but
right.
I was gonna see if
I don't know who likes the Dougie. Bitches like the Dougie.
You know, because of the lyrics in the song.
Oh, I don't know.
No.
That's not me for not being up to date.
I mean, it's like a 10-year-old song or something like that.
Right. That's all the more reason that I should be
all
ashamed.
the more reason not to know the lyrics. Which is fair.
I had 10 years to learn them.
Very fair. You're fucking up, man.
Teach me the lyrics of the Dougie. Teach me the lyrics of the Dougie.
We should just redo a bunch of classic songs and then make it about learning how to do the actual song. So it's like we do Stairway to Heaven, but the entire song is about how hard it is to play on the guitar. There's a lady who's sure, or maybe she's not, about the chords. What a comedy gold right there. Get Weird Al on the fucking phone, right?
I'm sure he's already heard. Like you don't strike gold like that and not have the world take notice.
He's like, what? Of course I'm coming over. That's
pretty good, actually. It was better than I would do. It's not a good compliment, but it was pretty good.
Who can be a better Weird Al in a contest that not even Weird Al would sign off on?
It's like, I don't need a parody of my existence.
Yeah,
You should only parody things like Michael Jackson and Madonna.
Has anybody done a parody of a Weird Al song?
It has to exist, right?
I mean,
It seems
well,
like
I gotta
such
think.
such an obvious way to go.
I mean, Dare to Be Stupid is not a parody song. Like, Dare to Be Stupid is an original song that's modeled after the Devo sound, I'm pretty sure.
He has a few of those. He has a number of songs that are original, but are like either modeled after a song, and he has some that are just completely original.
We should just do one called Dare to Be Cupid, and it's about Valentine's Day.
See if Weird Al takes notice.
See if Weird Al fucking hops on board this fucking gravy train, man.
Is that what it is? I've experienced zero gravy so far.
I rented a train. Hear me out.
Okay.
I rented it. I got a bunch of boxcars. I kicked all the children out of the boxcars.
Why did your rental come with children in it?
I don't know, man. Ask the boxcar kids. I don't know. I don't know why they came. Like, maybe they hopped on and didn't realize, like, I was the... Anyways, kicked them out. Took those boxcars. Just filled them to the brim with gravy.
Oh, you were not going to get your deposit back.
And then guess what I filled the caboose with?
More gravy?
Mashed potatoes.
Oh. So...
Now, here's the weird part.
I already feel like there's some weird parts, but I'm going to let you finish.
Well, I'm interested in hearing...
Why does the gravy outweigh the mashed potatoes? It's supposed to be... It's supposed to complement the potatoes, not be the main...
Yeah, but
focus.
The gravy, it's a kind of a thin gravy. You need a decent amount. Like, I mean, thin gravy and a lot of mashed potatoes. It's a chicken stock gravy.
All right.
But here's the weird part. Everybody who ate this mashed potatoes and gravy got lead poisoning, and I don't know why.
Oh. Well, Thanksgiving's ruined at that point.
Oh, Thanksgiving, every Thanksgiving, like, those people died. Like, every Thanksgiving in the future is ruined because of my little shenanigans going on here. So, we're reporting to you live from prison.
It's nice that they let us stream on Twitch.
I'm a little surprised.
While doing 30 years in max security.
I'm doing a dime.
Was that 10 years?
10, yeah.
Okay.
I was watching this way like a couple years ago. I want to say 3 years ago. On April Fool's Day, Netflix put out a video called Netflix Live, I believe.
Yes.
Which was...
Wasn't Will Arnett?
Yeah, it was Will Arnett. Just like somebody was like repairing a copy machine, and he was just giving commentary. Like the idea of it was that by the time you're watching it, like, it's been going for like 8 hours, and he's just exhausted at this point and out of ideas. So he's just like watching somebody fill a copy, and he's just going like, yeah. So he's doing the copy machine, and it's like a 10-minute long thing actually, but it was pretty funny. It's a shame you can't like find it anymore because it was. Here's the thing. I know for a fact it was to promote Adam Sandler movies.
Really?
Because Adam Sandler does appear. So, like, someone's fixing the copier, somebody's doing the toaster or something like that, somebody's making copies, and then, like, one of the things that they cut to is somebody playing Thumb War. And then, like, by the end of the video, like, the last 5 minutes or so, like, the people playing Thumb War, the girl wins, and then the dude who lost acts like it really hurt his thumb, and then the camera like cuts like back and like zooms back, and then you realize it's Adam Sandler, and he's acting like he's like being a sore loser, and then his thumb hurts, and he's like being a dick or something like that.
It's gotta be on YouTube or something somewhere.
I would be so surprised
if it's stricken from the record.
Right, like they don't want anyone to know. But one of the things he said when he was like commentating on like like the copy machine or something like that, he's just like, yeah, so something killed a guy. Not many people know this, but I did a dime up in blah blah blah, and I just thought that was the funniest thing, just casually saying I did a dime for prison time.
As he's just talking about.
I did that at work. Like, whenever I was at work, they would have us do like these training seminars. Like at the beginning of every work day, they'd be like, and today we're gonna go over the phrase of the day or something like that, which was always We had a 5-step process for how to do sales, and we would like over the course of the week go through the whole 5-step process, and like at the beginning of the next week it'd start anew. It would spring anew, and so like we'd be like, here's the greeting, here's the so and so, and then like sometimes like I
Sounds
never
helpful.
took these seriously. Oh my god, it was the worst. I hated it every single time. I was just like, we could actually be getting ready for work right now instead of doing this bullshit we do every day. Like it's the same shit.
Who's the
So I
douche that
never
like gets excited about that stuff? Like, there's got to be a guy out there that's like, yes, my favorite part of the day. Or
Here's
just
the
are
weirder
they just
thing.
universally hated?
Well, I'm pretty sure they're universally hated because the weird thing is, like, I've gotten drunk with my managers before. I've gotten high with my managers before, and like they all hate it. But
Well,
like
obviously.
they deserve acting awards because every time we would like do it, like the one manager, like God bless her, she works, but she would just act like the most enthused, hyper, happy to be there person. She'd be like, "All right, we're gonna do it. Let's go, let's go," and like we would all be like, "All right," for Sam. But yeah, they all hated it. So like I never took it seriously at all, and somehow I never got in trouble for it. Like I was encouraged, so I was just like, this has got to be like a white privilege right here. The fact that like I'm able to blow off like something we do every day, and I've never taken it seriously. But like somehow like straight up the CEO of the bank, or I don't know, it's hard to call him the CEO. It's a credit union, so it's not as big as a bank or by definition nonprofit. But like the guy who was in charge of everything, it's kind of an idiot. But he was there the one day, and someone was like, he made a reference about something or other, and then he's like, we're going around the room saying something or other about ourselves, and I'm just like, yeah, I did a dime up in so and so, while like the owner of the company is like there, and they laughed, so I was like, cool, I'm not in trouble.
That's
I made
great.
them laugh. But yeah, I never took those things seriously. Like whenever we're doing like training and shit like that, they'd be like, all right, now try and address concerns or something like that. So they'd be like, hi, welcome to the credit union. What can I do for you today? And I was just like, I have a gun. I don't want to use it. Like I never did the thing. Like I would always just like fuck around it. Like I made a joke about, what was that?
No, I was just listening, but.
Oh, but I think my favorite one, and I don't remember all the specific jokes I did because I just don't. But I remember the one. It was like during like we had to go make an extra trip to some separate building for training, and then like the teacher's like, okay, Ian, like you're gonna do a scenario with Brian and Ian. Brian, you're gonna try and sell to Ian. Ian, you're gonna act like you have concerns, and like the main thing we're trying to work over is when people are just like, oh, I gotta ask the wife about it.
Yeah. You're
Which
trying to
is
talk them
common.
out of trying to talk them out of consorting with the person that they share their life and finances with.
Yeah, or even
Because what
just,
a dumb thing to do.
right? Like, hey,
This is a big decision. I should probably speak to my wife, who I teamwork everything with.
$10,000
What?
loan.
No, you don't need her. She'll be thanking
You don't
you.
need it. Yeah.
This might crush your marriage because she'll be upset about your decision that you didn't ask her about. But trust us, that probably won't happen.
It's a great idea to not go to your, because like the thing is, whenever somebody says like, I'm gonna go talk to
plan.
It is because the thing is like
Definitely.
half the people who say like I'm gonna go talk to my wife about it, they're not married. They're just like, we know
It's how they
who's
get
married
out
or not.
of
Exactly.
saying yes or no, making a decision.
Yeah. But so like we were supposed to like we had like a game plan for if that happens on how to be like, I understand if you want to talk to your spouse over this decision, but just to let you know, we can like there is no downside. We can save you, blah 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 blah. And to be fair, we were never allowed to refinance debt where it would be end up a higher interest rate than like what they had before. So technically, we were never like trying to gotcha somebody, but it was still like trying to like convince somebody to take on new debt or
Which is
restructure
something
debt,
that you
which
should
is
sleep on at the very least.
100%. So but like the one guy's like, okay, so and like it came to my turn to be the guy to be like, oh, I better talk to my wife about this, and I was just like, I made a joke basically about being a Mormon, and then yeah, I was like, okay, well, I'll run this up the flagpole to the sister wives, and then I'll get back to you, and then it was just a whole thing, but. I never took that shit seriously, and I should I was by the end of it, like when I really wanted to get out of there, I was trying to get in trouble. Just never happened. That is fucked up.
And especially like if the bosses laugh at your jokes, then it's all it's
You're
it's,
good.
you're good to go.
Yeah.
God bless your other coworkers for not being like, hey, if he can do it, I can do it too, because that's what would have got it shut down is if everybody was fucking around.
100%. Yeah.
So
I
they're
think
like, that's Ian's thing.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what they decide. Like they were like, Ian's the wacky one. I mean, I don't know. I'm always the wacky one at whatever job. Not like I try to be, but I'm just not a usual person.
I remember a number of times in like high school where like we were given some weird task and like turn it into a joke, and the kids that were taking it seriously would get a little frustrated because when sometimes you'd be told knock it off, but if you have a teacher that laughs at what you're doing, then they're like the people who are trying to take it seriously are just made into fools.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just like, God damn it! Like I was doing the stupid thing you told me to do, and now you're laughing at this other kid that's making my attempt at it hell. Like I remember I took this computer course and we're doing like troubleshooting tests, and when we'd take turns, one person would go on the phone on the other side of the room and call, or I don't remember if it was actually we used a phone or if we just pretended, but either way, it was like one person's the caller and one person's the support on the phone, and whenever I was the person who was like needing help, I would just be like, it was like I'd never seen a computer before in my life. They'd be saying like, all right, drag across the desktop, and I'd be like, all I see on my desk is my keyboard and my cup of coffee, and like just like, and they'd be like, he's so frustrated, and the teacher would be cracking up, and the kid, it's just all the more frustrating for the person who's trying to like do it the right way.
I'm trying to learn here.
And then
You're trying to teach me how to Dougie.
I also remember, I don't remember the context, but for some reason we were playing charades in one of our classes, and the idea was that the opposing team got to come up with the things that the other team had to do charades for, which makes no sense.
That's a terrible idea.
Terrible idea, but then our team thought it was really funny to just make them the most impossible most impossible things to solve.
That's the obvious like
ever.
Like
it's charades. And we were like crying laughing at watching these kids try to solve some of these. The other team was nice about it. I don't know why they were, but they didn't. Everything was doable, and then stuff we came up with was just like fucking hilarious to watch somebody try to do it without any words. Like I remember the one that made us like all like crying laughing, and even the teacher was laughing too. Was this one kid was trying to act out Frasier in charades, which is just like. Good luck. I don't know how you even do that.
How you would do that.
He was trying some different stuff. He was like trying to put on like a headphones or something like
that was my first thought was headphones that are
but even you could act out headphones for 100 hours straight and nobody would guess Frasier.
Yeah.
And then he like at the very end he like tried to like be Eddie or something like that, and that was just then he ran out of time. And like Godspeed for even attempting it, but.
I feel like in that case you have to work phonetically. You gotta be like fraying something, and then.
I don't know. It's just a really it's hard.
That's hilarious.
I feel bad for him, but it was a great moment for me.
I was playing Drawful 2 with some buddies last week. We started off as something else, then ended up moving over to Jackbox games, but. Like we did Drawful. We did a couple like of the like in Drawful 2 you can set your own categories for people to draw. Because for those who are watching at home, let me check the numbers. All two of you, that's odd. All two of us. Drawful is basically you get like a really randomly generated phrase like a hippo at the zoo, and then what you gotta do is you gotta try and draw that on your fucking phone or if you have a tablet you can do it on your tablet or your computer even, but. What you do then is you have to draw that as best as you can, and then what you end up with like is a bunch of lines because half the things they say to draw are just intentionally difficult and obscure.
Yeah.
And then everyone, when the round starts, everyone sees your drawing without the title of what you were trying to draw. They come up with what they think it is you were trying to draw or something that it kind of looks like, and then people have to guess. Of all the suggestions, like what is the real thing that you will get, like your real prompts, and if somebody chooses a prompt that somebody else made up, then they get points, etc., etc. It's a very clever game. So, in Drawful 2, they give you the option to make your own prompt set, and so we did that. And I wrote a bunch of terrible ones. Like I wrote Shrek Does Paris. I did a couple other ones, but I also did Please Don't Draw Child Porn as like the title. So my buddy Austin got it, and then he just wrote the word no, and I was just like, I know what this one is.
It's just like, how could anybody? Yeah, when you get to make other people's. We should play that maybe like next week or one of these weeks.
Yeah, we should. That'd be a lot of fun. We gotta figure out like if we can get some guests on too.
Yeah, I'm sure we could.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm
interested in like people are able to actually upload their episodes onto like the Drawful website or the Jackbox website or something like that.
Snap.
So I'd be interested in seeing like what games or like what categories people have come up with. That's always
awesome.
That's a nice thing about that is it kind of gives you unlimited replayability in that sense.
I will be right back. I have some food cooking that I'm just gonna quick turn off, and I'll be right back.
All right, cool. All right, it's just you and me again, audience. Oh boy, we do this like once a week. It's either me or him who leaves and goes and does something. As you can see, we're drawing some Dungeons and Dragons drawings right here. Dungeons and Dragons is a fun game where you roll dice, and that determines if you get drunk or not. And that's Dungeons and Dragons. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Boy, oh boy. As you can see, we have a wizard, a Babrabran, and a Brad. Wizrad, a Babrabran, and Brad. That's what we got going on here. You can tell by their outfits. Brads always have guitars. I was actually playing Dungeons and Dragons with somebody recently, and the Brad of the group played Wonderwall, or the medieval version of it. As it was a joke between all of us, we were laughing about the Wonderwall. I can hear him moving around. I'm just waiting for him to put those headphones on and be like, "What's up?" What kind of food did he make? Did he make chicken cordon bleu? Did he make some nice Wagyu beef steak? Did he make himself some... I think it's pretty fucked up that Kobe beef is technically not legal in the US or something like that, or... I'm pretty sure it's Kobe beef that you're not actually legally allowed to have, or something like that. I don't know the reason behind it, but it's something like shipping codes or FDA approval or something like that. I don't know. Some weird stuff. I remember I was talking with somebody and they were complaining like, "Oh, the FDA is stupid because you can't have pufferfish unless you're like a specially trained cook, so you don't kill people." And I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. That would be a thing.
All right, house is not burned down.
Awesome. Glad to hear it.
All you can ask for. I just made some chicken breasts.
I called it. Oh, I said chicken
Really?
cordon bleu.
Oh no, way less fancy than that. That's like breaded and like it's cheese inside.
Yeah, well, I think it's. Yeah, I guess you're right. I always thought of chicken cordon bleu as like just blue cheese.
I don't even think it is. I think it's Swiss.
Oh, you might be right. I'll be honest. I just have not had chicken cordon bleu.
I think I've had it once, but yeah, you're putting purple spots all over the place.
I honestly probably wouldn't even know the phrase chicken cordon bleu if it weren't for the movie Fight Club.
It also helps that it's just a fun title.
It's a very fun to say. Omelette du fromage. It's so very French. If anyone's French in the audience, I am so sorry, but your accent is hilarious.
Maybe yours is good enough that they can't tell that you're...
I am a real French man.
Ian's been doing an American accent for 39 episodes now. This is his real voice.
y'all don't know, but I'm actually a Russian guy pretending to be an American. That's why I
Oh, that's
sound
pretty
very
popular on
American.
the internet these days.
It is. Yeah, shit, you got that right.
Go on over to Twitter and you'll meet all sorts of
I'm totally a real American. Also, vote Trump. Please don't vote Trump. Oh my God,
No.
please don't.
Do it for us. Don't vote
Yeah.
Trump for us.
Do it for literally everybody on the planet, because that dude does not need to be around nuclear buttons any longer.
Or even like way less like dangerous buttons. He should just not be around buttons at all.
He should not be around things. He should be around 4 walls, a cot,
Maybe some bars.
maybe some bars.
You know, actually that might be too too
nice.
generous. Give him some, put him in the hole or like whatever they call it in
Yeah.
movies. Lock him
solitary?
up. That's what I say.
Lock him up. Okay,
Let's move on from this before
yeah,
we...
I'm too depressed about politics to ever
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
make jokes about it still. So I was telling the folks that this drawing is based on Dungans and Dragons.
Oh, Dunkins and Dugans?
Dungans and Dugoos. And what we got here is a Wizrad, a Brabrin, and a Brad.
Brad, I love Brad. He's a good guy.
He's a good Brad. Our Brad is such a good Brad.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite kind of
Plays-
Brad?
What's my what?
Favorite
My
kind of
favorite
Brad?
Brad? Is that what you asked?
Yeah,
My favorite
that
Brad?
is what I asked. Pumpernickel?
Gosh. Honestly, the dudes from Tenacious D are basically Brads,
It's true.
especially when they're facing the devil in that one song music video episode.
Mm-hmm. Movie and episode. They do it multiple
Suzuki
times.
episode video.
I was
Tenacious
supposed
D
to
was
see
super
them
musical.
next month, but that got canceled, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good thing that happened.
Yeah, I agree, but it's also disappointing.
Yeah, it's very disappointing.
But on that same note, I'm disappointed that it's canceled, or that, that this year was what it was.
I'm mostly disappointed.
But I'd
by
be
all
more
the dead
disappointed
people.
if it wasn't canceled, and then I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, so I'm just not going, and I also will not get my
Yeah.
money back.
So you are getting a refund though, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Oh, funny enough, not actually funny, but like in a tragic way, this year was, I probably had the most stuff planned this year that I have ever. Like, I never planned like that much stuff. Like,
Dude, I was doing so
3
well. I was
concerts.
going to concerts left and right.
I had
I
3
was,
concerts
like,
planned.
hitting
We were
the gym.
supposed to go to Costa Rica. I got canceled.
Ugh.
Bunch of stuff.
I had gone to 3 concerts in the 2 months preceding this whole Roni stuff.
Yeah.
And I had been going to the gym twice a week. I was so fucking proud of myself for I'm like such a homebody that like I hate leaving my room. So
Mhm.
like doing shit on the regs was like such a new thing for me. And like hell, like the week before like March 14th or whatever, like the beginning of March, I went to the gym once and I was like, I don't know if I should be doing this. I like wiped shit down extra, even though I know
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do anything in that sort of atmosphere, but I was wiping shit down extra. And then like the day, like I went to a concert for a band called Destroyer, like even as I was like preparing to go, I was kind of like, I don't know if I should go. And
Yeah,
my
I had
friends
one
were
of
like,
those.
You shouldn't.
Moments right before everything too.
Yeah.
I went to a show and I was just like, should I though? But we were in like a private box, so like,
Oh yeah.
kind of makes it okay as far as, I mean, not yes and no, but compared to being in a big mob of people.
Yeah. This concert was taking place in a place called Underground Arts,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called that because it's a big ass bar under the ground.
Oh, they have
it's-
shovels on the walls?
You know what? Honestly, the vibe was almost like Trial City.
Shovel time.
Shovel Time. But like honestly, like because that aesthetic for Shoveltown Trial City was so like just gaudy, or I don't even know how to describe that aesthetic. It was weird.
Weird.
But like the aesthetic at this place is better because like they know they're like an underground dive bar because they're called Underground Arts and
Mhm.
concerts and stuff. So like the vibe was way better because like the vibe made sense.
Right.
You go to Trial City and you're just like, okay, like who are we burying? Like I don't know.
So what? The theme is digging.
Yeah,
I don't like. I get that you're under the ground, but it's not by a lot.
That's the second worst named bar I've ever been to where the theme of the name of the bar was going down. In Philly. It's a very specific, but basically, so like Philly, the bars in Philly, it doesn't exist anymore because the owners managed that bar and the restaurant I used to work at terribly. RIPM restaurant, worst place. Not the worst place, but it was decent. Anyways, but the point is, but so like that was in Philly, and then the reason they called it 6 feet under because you had to take steps downward, and it was like underground. It was like the bottom basement floor.
But to make that your whole theme, when it's just like it's like 4 steps down, it's not even like, you know, it's I didn't. The transition from surface level to the bar was nothing dramatic, where it needs to be completely themed after the fact that it's.
You can still see the sun.
Yeah.
From like windows.
You can see the door to get out from the floor you're on.
Yeah. But so that's a bar, but another bar in Philly, and this bar is a little further south, a little bit less center. Now it's actually probably the direction towards the school. But this bar is, you also took steps down. This was a real dive bar, like this, like the diviest of bars you could get. Like this was one of them. They did karaoke on Wednesdays, but or Tuesdays maybe. But anyways, this was like a bar. You took a bunch of steps down and then you were underground. And guess what they called this bar?
Going down.
The 12 Steps.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's funny.
Good.
For a bar.
It's funny.
It's kind of dark.
Kind of a rude name for a bar.
It's kind of dark.
Yeah.
But I can at least see the comedy in something that's kind of horrible.
I was hit on super hard by a bartender there too, and I was really bummed out because I totally would have gone for it if I wasn't. I was like, oh, that's super nice of you. I feel very, I feel good about myself. But I'm in a relationship, so I can't.
Well,
I can't.
Kudos to you for not being a big bag of trash.
I just can't. I just could never.
No, I couldn't either.
Could never. I don't know. I just I don't have that bone in me to
it's not even a bone. It's like you have to be able to just totally not respect someone that you spend most of your time with.
Yeah, it's like, hey, hi, I know we're building a life together and things like that, but it's all predicated on lies and
it's like, oh, I see you more than anybody else, but I'm willing to lie to your face.
Yeah, I don't know. It's even when I find out if I find out a friend of mine has been cheating, so I'm just like, is that guy a piece of shit? Am I hanging out with a piece of shit?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean,
yeah, 100%.
I guess it's for everybody to make that call, but
it's
a pretty easy decision for me.
Yeah, I think so. It's the thing is,
just break up with the person.
Yeah, just break up.
It's easy. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not. Yeah, you can go do whatever you want to do. Just don't. It's laziness.
Yeah, it's 100% lazy.
I don't want to be in an argument, so I'm just gonna sneak around. What?
Or even it's almost like having a home base to go to. It's like, well, if I can't score out in the bar, I can go home and there's a reasonable chance that I can still have sex.
Yeah.
And that's pretty shitty. That's definitely using somebody.
Yeah, it's laziness.
And yeah, it's just it's a fucked up thing to do to somebody. It really is. I just couldn't ever picture. Even when there was a weird limbo where me and my ex-girlfriend weren't dating, but we were, but it was she didn't want to she didn't want to say we were dating, and that we were getting none of the benefits of dating, of kissing or the emotional closeness or anything like that. But we were still hanging out all the time, and she would. Anyways, the point is, that was actually emotional abuse. That part right there. Anyways, but the point is, even when we were in that sort of mode, I still wouldn't go and like try and pick up girls or anything like that, just because like I was like, okay, well, like something's happening here, and whatever
Right.
it is, like I don't
just-
want to like fuck.
Yeah, it's the respect thing.
Yeah, a lot of respect, and
How it sounds to me.
and the rough part is that like respect wasn't even like really being reciprocated towards me from
Yeah.
the person, but like I don't know, like again, that's a whole different topic, but you know, but still, I just wouldn't, I don't know, I just can't.
Well,
Oh,
good
God,
job. You have empathy. It turns out most people in
Do
this country do not. So,
Yeah.
congratulations on being one of them.
It's you know, it's a finite. No, it's not a finite resource. It's not hard, is what it is. Actually, it's just not hard to be an empathetic individual. You just gotta
Some
be
people
like,
don't
hey,
have that portion of their brain.
they don't. I don't get that. I just really don't.
The idea of having to do something they don't want to do for somebody else is just like, what? But why would I do that? That I don't like. Then I don't get the thing that I want.
Yeah, it's like you know, Louis C.K. is a piece of shit and all that, but he has some great bits, and the one bit
Yeah.
is like he's talking about traffic, but it really applies to literally everything. And he's just like, "What? It's not my favorite thing," and it's just like so many people will just not do something if it's not the thing, like their favorite thing.
Right. Like,
He's-
no
he-
one
he's- he's
cares.
talking- yeah.
Whether, you know, sorry, you have to, sometimes you have to be uncomfortable to not be a piece of shit.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes you just gotta, and like, it's not even like a big sacrifice you're making.
No.
It's just, it's just like,
It's just-
hey,
It's about like the most basic version of a sacrifice.
yeah. Hi, can you not watch Stranger Things like 2 episodes ahead? Like we're watching it together. Okay.
But I want to,
I'm
though.
gonna watch Yeah, I'm gonna watch Stranger Things. And like Netflix cheating is like the least kind of cheating, but like it's still.
I've been guilty of that in the past.
What shows?
I don't remember what it was. I don't remember. But I have done it where I'm supposed to wait and then I watch something. But you don't win because then you just have to watch it again anyways.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
And you
just
don't
have
get to
fucking-
enjoy it the next time because you've already seen it and you feel guilty.
Yeah, you're just the whole time you're just going like, ha 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 ha. This was a good time.
This
to
show's
laugh.
good that I've never seen before.
Oh wait, watch this. Oh wait, I mean we should watch this, right?
This part's probably going to be really good.
Yeah, we should pay attention. I've been Netflix cheated on and regular cheated
Wow. Me too.
on. Great.
But
Oh,
yeah.
man.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do indeed? Break up with them actually,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. That's the answer.
that's not why we broke up. But it was, I'm not gonna. I shouldn't. I've like said way too much about this relationship, more than I feel comfortable exposing myself on air about.
Well, we could, you know, steer out of that then.
Let's do it. Let's steer.
Great.
Have you seen the new DC reveals?
There's been all sorts of stuff.
There has been. There's like a thing called
So much stuff.
fandom, or whatever the fuck that. Like, what is that? Is that just basically like DC
Fandom?
con?
Oh, they
Yeah.
must have a con. I mean, DC's big, so they've got.
Because like all these reveals are happening from something called DC Fandom.
Okay.
I've literally never heard of it.
I've never heard of it
until,
once, but apparently it exists. Unless it's some like thing they're doing since everybody's stuck at home. I don't know. If they probably aren't actually having a conference with people at it, are they?
No, I don't. I think they're just. I think it's basically like a live stream you can watch.
Okay. Well, maybe it's. I feel like some people are coming up with new ways to engage amidst COVID, and that might be
Yeah.
it. Because I've never heard of it previous, but it might have existed. I don't know. But some new video
I'm not
games,
sure.
some new trailers.
Some new movies.
Any of that stuff excite you? Any of it?
I mean, shit. Do I like? I can watch Batman's parents die again. Like that's
Right.
always cool.
Right.
I mean, I can't play the video game that was announced because I don't have a working computer or a console.
Right.
That one's out of it.
Well, who knows? You know, eventually one day you might be able to.
Maybe one day, somewhere out there.
Working computer.
on PC Parts Picker.
You'll have a computer again one day.
Hopefully soon. I had a really good friend of mine. I'm working on a music project with him.
Speaking, not to cut you off, but speaking of a working
please
computer, if you see that bar there at the bottom of the screen, boy, that is charity to help out a young man in need.
It's literally to buy me a new gaming / art. Like, I have a tablet. That's how I'm doing all this right now. But like, I
feel like you're selling yourself short to just say it's a gaming computer. You do most of your work in digital art.
I do. I like the last computer I had was a quote unquote gaming computer, but it was like for everything. Like it had the work so I could like do music and like art. And
right.
So
Yeah. For some of you who may know, Ian makes a lot of music. All the music on the show is made by him.
Except for the
intro, yeah. But
the
intro. But I meant the getting ready song.
Yeah, that nice little samba music you heard. That's
elevator.
I'm working on my own samba song and
we'll swap it out.
We'll
at that point. But yeah. So Ian makes music, makes art, makes all sorts of shit, and so needs a working computer.
Yeah.
And so if you feel it in your heart to put 50 cents into that can at the bottom of the screen, we'll appreciate it. And something that we need to be better about, we have it in the bottom of our page, and I want to hold to it. I just kind of forget. If you donate more than $5, you can request something and we'll draw it on the air.
What? Oh, we had a couple people.
We haven't done it. I know, that's what I'm saying, but it says it at the bottom of the screen, and I want to hold ourselves to it because drawing requests are fun. Yeah, for sure. We will.
That'd actually be a good episode. Is just doing those drawing requests for the folks who have already donated. Like that would last us like a good full episode.
Get a good chunk out of that. But yeah, so donate some money, and you can have a drawing on there.
Yeah, and then we can stream games and shit like games.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we should play some Fall Guys on here soon.
We should 100% play some Fall Guys on here. But yeah, I have a buddy who I'm working on like an album with. I knew him back in college. It was kind of a cool story because we had an illustration class together, and then we were talking like we were partnered up for something, and we were just like going around meeting everybody in the class. And I was like, "Hey, dude, like blah blah blah, nice to meet you." He's like, "Yeah." And then like I think I forget how it came up, but I just remember looking at him being like, "Hey, aren't you the guy who at the talent showcase at the beginning, like for orientation, you did like the dope ass beatboxing?" And he was just like, "That was me." And I was like, "Oh my god, you were so great!" And then we sort of became friends from there.
That's awesome.
Really good guy. That had a lot of really cool adventures with him in college. And then he moved to Texas. I hadn't talked to him for a while. And then on Instagram, he posted something on Instagram saying like, "Hey guys, who wants to work on some music together?" And I was just like, "I do." So I hit him up. And we reconnected. We've been actually like talking a lot and working on an album together. Is that
the album cover you've been showing me? Is that you too? That's awesome.
I should post that real quick onto the thing.
Yeah, you can, or if you want to, or you can wait till it's finished. It's up to you. But
I'm
excited. Oh, awesome! I'm excited to hear the music and also see that finished product. Also, Solantis just followed us. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, dude? Thank you so
for
much.
joining the BFF crew.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that, man. That's super nice of you to do that.
I noticed a lot of you know Solantis.
I do. Well, I don't know him super well. I've been playing games with that Dr. Soundcheck guy that I was telling you about. I was on his stream. We were playing some Fall Guys together and things like that. Solantis was part of those games as well. We played some Jackbox together. He likes the bombard.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about the pun the obvious wordplay that you could use there. He's being bombarded.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. Wow.
Anyways.
That's clever. But Solantis is a cool guy. We played some Jackbox together. I don't know if we met at all before that, but he seems like a really cool guy.
Well, he followed us, so that proves that he is a really cool guy.
Yeah, all the people who follow us are very cool.
Yeah, we only let cool people in.
That's right. Cool kids only.
That's right.
But thank you so much, Lance. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm pulling up this. I gotta post this goddamn album art. Oh, here it is. Okay, I found it. But yeah, I did this. This is Oh Christ Almighty! Draw pile. Quit resizing my shit.
Oh, draw pile.
Oh, draw pile. You goofy goober, you. But yeah, this is the album cover. Oh shit! I'm fucking up my
Where
nose.
did it go? Oh man. Oh jeez. Oh hell yeah!
Aw.
That's awesome. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, is it currently on the screen? Is it? On
Yeah,
the
but it's
screen
cut
too?
off at the bottom a little bit. The
Yeah,
title.
it was trying to flip it, so I hate the way draw pile copies and paste things sometimes. But if I do this, is it gone now?
It's gone.
Okay, cool, because it stopped popping up for me. But yeah, that's the album artwork for the music project we're working on.
I tried to read it's Fatal what?
Fatal Rhythm.
Fatal Rhythm. Awesome.
Yeah.
I like
We're
it.
gonna go with like a couple of titles. We're gonna do like operative and there's a couple ideas we had, but
I like
Fatal
how
Rhythm.
painterly you went with it. It's cool. Look.
Thank you. It's the first time I've ever tried something like that, and I was really happy that. Oh shit! I'm fucking things up on the draw pile thing. Okay, but yeah, I was really
Okay.
happy because I've never done anything like that before. But I downloaded a bunch of brushes off the Clip Studio store. But it's kind of fun because not to like toot my own horn or anything like that, but
Toot away.
but it kind of looks like almost like an old classic painting sort of thing going on,
Yeah,
where it's like
I
two
got
dudes
that vibe.
standing on like some weird. Like the original idea for the cover was not that, but as I started doing the new one, I was like, I'm embracing this. This is fun, and that's where we're at. And I gave myself a robot arm. I gave my friend Paul some cool glasses.
Does he actually have a sleeve, or did you just? Is that just?
No, he doesn't have a sleeve. He
Alright.
wanted. He has like this.
Good luck,
He
though.
has this character sort of thing that he uses to represent his music. So
Oh, cool.
he wanted that somewhere in the picture on his character. So I made it his tattoo and
Nice.
gave him a dope ass sleeve around it because sleeves are cool.
Slantis says, "That's awesome. What kind of music do you guys make?" I'll let you answer that.
Oh boy,
Since
we've
it's
been
not
doing.
me who makes the music.
We're doing like it's a very rap sort of album, but like there's gonna be some like R&B singing and stuff in there. And we're trying to get some different vibes. We're trying to be like lyrics about some social things, and but we're also trying to like get like some funk into it. It's hard to describe because like I could just say like it's rap, but it's it's different than a lot of the rap that you hear
Right.
a lot nowadays. We're trying to sort of
Well, I think a lot of, especially now more than ever, musicians do like, they don't lock themselves in like a little box. You do multiple things.
yeah.
On an album, so that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, like there's this band, and I highly recommend everybody check them out. They're called Soft Hair. But when we started doing like the album,
Oh yeah, you told me about stuff here.
I was like super into Soft Hair when I'm still into Soft Hair, but I was super into them. Got one album when we were like trying to come up with like the vibe for the thing, and so I was just like, let's be like a Soft Hair type thing, and the vibe's a little different from that, but. Yeah, I think it's a good range. Like he like basically we like spent a month each of us doing sketches of like different songs and things like that, and then we picked the ones that we liked the most, taking those to a finished product, and then we're gonna do some lyrics on top of those. That's gonna be
I'm really excited to hear it. I like to listen to your stuff a lot, but I haven't really experienced or heard much like collaborative stuff that you've done.
it's not something I've done a lot, so
Right.
it's gonna be interesting.
It's cool.
We're trying very hard to like keep you know how like when we work on stuff together, it's like a very equal creative process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to like take the lessons I've learned working together with you on projects and like bringing them to this project. And
Trying
so,
to avoid all the fights that we've had about
Yeah.
the creative process.
I'll give you your eyeball back at some point. But
I'm not sure it's
very
useful to
focused.
me anymore at this point.
It's not.
I don't think
It's
they
not
can
none of it.
reattach it.
I don't know why you want it back.
Everybody keeps thinking I'm winking at them. It's bullshit.
You're like George Costanza on that one episode of Seinfeld where he gets the grapefruit in his eye. Solantis says, always down for the funk. Solantis, do you prefer Solantis or Solantis? I just want to make sure because, I want to pronounce it
pronouncing
right.
this correctly.
Solantis?
I
Like
hope
Solan-
it'd be funny if he answered by just typing it out the exact way it's spelled out.
That would be hilarious. Solange.
Well,
It took
that
me so long
solves
to
that.
figure out. Yeah, it took me so long to figure out how you pronounce Solange. I had no idea. I also pronounced. Oh yeah. So we were talking about Dave, the show
Yeah.
last week, I think it was.
Yep.
Somebody. So like the that night, I watched another episode of Dave, and like Gata, the character, said his name, like his real
Yeah,
name.
they explain it, like, with pronunciation.
Yeah. So I was like, ah, shit, I wish I'd watched this episode before I went. But like, I don't know what Gata's real name is.
Yeah.
And then like somebody in the chat posted his like name, and I completely fucked up like the pronunciation of it. I was like, is it Devonte? But it's Daviante.
Gotcha.
Which
well,
is
there's no way you
completely-
know until you hear it said.
Yeah, but it's like when you look at the name, it's completely phonetic.
Uh.
That's an embarrassment right there. I also in a previous episode said that Janet Jackson named New Jack Swing after herself, but that's also not the case. I don't know the whole story of what it's like. There's a movie called New Jack City that came out in '91. I think that has something to do with. I don't know, man.
Well, I like that you're like a newspaper. You're going back and correcting your mistakes.
Yeah, I'm fact checking myself because like that's the thing is like when I have like a social situation, I'll like go home that night and immediately stew like, oh god, what the fuck did I say? Why did I say that? Why would I say those things? They all hate me, etc., etc. So whenever I do an episode of this show, I have a similar thing, except it's just like, oh fuck, what did I say that's factually inaccurate? And then I go and I like fact check myself and. It's not.
You're overthinking it.
I'm 100% overthinking.
The only times I ever do that is if I was like at a party or something, where I don't.
Yeah, alcohol.
I don't have my memory to fully like squash any of those anxieties. Because normally I could be like, was that a stupid thing to say? And I'm like, nah, it was fine. But then I'm like, was that a stupid thing to say? I don't know. I can't recall it. It's hard to remember. Solantis says, I'm cool with either. I pronounce the A like you would in the word ant. But that's mostly because of my hideous Philly accent.
The Philly accent is so
So
lovely. I love a Philly accent. Solantis. That's why I started blasting. That's the worst feeling is when you wake up for a party and you're just like, what the fuck did I do last night? Like, I hate that feeling.
Fortunately, like
so much.
I haven't had many of those like complete don't remember anything moments in the better part of this decade. So, but I used to have that occasionally, and yeah, it was not good.
I just hope that anybody who has interacted with me up until like 2 years ago does not remember any of it, because like I don't know, I just think of like things I've done in the past. Like, have you ever like remembered something embarrassing or stupid you've done, and then you're just like stuck making stupid faces at yourself?
You
just
like physically wince like while you're laying in bed. Yes, I've done that. In fact, do that often.
I do that so often. I hate it. And like not
some of them can be like
that.
Some of them can be like from like 10 years ago, and also you just think of it for no reason. You're just like, oh god, what a stupid thing to do.
That's the worst feeling. There was like there was an episode of Dave where like he gets super drunk at like a club, and then like his friends basically, like his old friends basically. How much of Dave have you watched?
I think I only have like an episode or two left.
Oh, nice. We're actually in the same boat. Right
Yeah.
now.
I assumed you had finished it. I didn't know.
I was going to, but then I got caught up. Like, I like to like if it's a show I really care about and like I want to pay attention to it like with my full face, I'll like watch the show while I'm eating food, but that really slows down like how much of it I'm able to get in like a certain period of time. So like that's one of those shows where I really like it, so I want to watch it while I eat food, but my diet's been kind of fucked up lately. But like so like I just finished the episode right after the concert.
Yeah, I think the last one I saw was the concert, which is the one that it has.
The one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, in that episode for the audience, Dave's friends from, like, when he was younger and who were kind of dickheads to him come and they convince him to piss himself in a club. And they didn't even convince him. He just sort of did that on his own volition.
Right.
But then, like, he wakes up the next morning, like, drunk and, like, oh, God, what did I do? I was so worried, like, the rest of that episode was going to be him, like, dealing with the fallout of pissing himself in public, which it was thankfully not, because that would be such a storyline I just would have a hard time stomaching.
Yeah, he actually overcame that whole kind of situation by the end of it.
Yeah,
in a
actually,
very fun way.
I did really enjoy, like, as that, like, just spoiler alert for anyone who's watching, I'm just gonna straight up say what happened in that episode, but, like, he has, like, a vision of himself as a kid, and then it drowns him in, like, a bowl of pasta. But, like, when he was doing that, I was, like, watching that scene going, like, this is a good show.
Yeah, it is a good show. I like how serious. I like a show that could be based around something that's really ridiculous and silly, and then take it very seriously.
Yeah, like, how much did it break your heart, the episode where Gata's talking about, like, his
Yeah, that
his
episode was
bipolar
like
disorder?
it's like
Oh,
a
man.
drama, but this is about a rapper that talks about his penis in every song.
Yeah, that was such a good episode though. Like straight up, like, Gata made me cry when I was watching that
Yeah.
episode. I was just like, oh.
Yeah, it's a good show.
It's a really good show. I'm really happy with it. I hear the last episode is wild. Like, I don't know anything
nice.
about it, what happens. I just know my one buddy Ben, like, watched it when the show first came out, and he was just like, wow, that last episode of Dave, everybody.
I watched it by myself because I was like, okay, this is something that Morgan, the woman I live with, my roommate, she would she would probably
The roommate you kiss.
I assumed she wouldn't be a fan of it just because I knew his YouTube stuff, and not she wouldn't. She has a pretty much the same sense of humor as me, so not that she wouldn't be a fan of
When
it.
it comes to women, there's a drop off to, like, how much they give a shit about dick jokes.
Right. It's not that she wouldn't be a fan. I'm sure she would enjoy it or laugh or whatever. And I showed her a couple of his videos when she asked what I was watching, like his YouTube stuff that I knew him from, and
Yeah.
she thought it was funny. But like, I just I thought it was gonna be a lot more like infantile and stupid than it is, and it's actually like really
very
well
good
written
show.
and good. Yeah, I'm a big fan. So like, I may have to rewatch it with her now that I'm like, oh, this is actually, you'd love this.
You gotta, like, propose it to her, like, look, I didn't Netflix cheat. But
No, I mean, not unfortunately, but you know me, I watch 1,000 movies and TV and stuff like that, and she never was that way. So just about like the first like 2 years of our relationship was just me like showing her stuff that I love. And
yeah, I think that's, like, the start of every relationship, though. Like, that was definitely my experience with my ex. Is like the first while was just showing that, like, us showing each other things that we love, that I we watched John Benjamin Has a Van. I showed her just, like, anything that, like, I could think of that I really enjoyed in the past 10 years that I was like, you guys, like, I'm gonna reference this when we make stupid conversations, so you should know what I'm referring to.
It's totally how it happened for us too. Is I would make jokes, she would just stare at me, and then we'd go, wait, you haven't seen this? And then she'd go, what? And I would go, oh my god, and then write it down on my phone. And then anytime that we're like looking for something to watch, I have a giant list of things.
It's good to have those.
Yeah.
But yeah, and another funny story about the beginning of your relationship, if you don't mind me sort of cracking this walnut open for you to tell people, is she's not a fan of horror movies.
Yeah, no, I learned that, but probably like when we started dating, the majority of what we watched was horror movies, and I love horror movies, but I'm also not like obsessed where I'm like that's not the reason that's the majority of what we watched. I wasn't like, this is what I love to watch. It just kept like
It's just good horror movies.
Just kept happening that we were watching horror movies like back to back, and she seemed to be into them. So I was just like, oh, I'm having fun with this. So I kept recommending more, and we watched a bunch. And then after we just had our 3rd anniversary like a couple weeks ago. But like,
congratulations, by the way.
Thanks. But like after like a year of dating this woman, like she was like, oh, by the way, I hate horror movies. They're terrible and they make me, I can't sleep all night. But I was just doing it because I wanted to seem cool and like hang out with you. And I'm like, you could have told me. I would. What kind of psychopath would be like, oh, you don't like horror movies? Well, this is just not going to work. I just love them too much. Horror movies. Yay.
I think that is really sweet of her to do that, though. That's like
Yeah.
super sweet of her.
I mean,
she really liked you.
I could see myself doing something like that too, but it's just like so unnecessary.
I'll be honest,
Put
I
yourself
actually
through
didn't
that.
watch a lot of horror movies before I started dating my ex-girlfriend, but she really liked horror movies, and I like horror video games, so I
Yeah.
was just like the main reason I didn't watch horror movies is because the gore really is like,
Yeah.
you're gonna see some shit. But you know, I watched a bunch of horror movies with her because she liked horror movies a lot, and I ended up really liking horror movies too. And I deal with gore in movies a lot better than I did before now. But
I can separate. Maybe I'm like reached the level of what do you call it, where you're
I just saw this word movie today, and
where you're
desensitized.
Desensitized. Maybe I'm just like severely desensitized, which is not a good thing, and that's why. But I don't know. I can separate movies from real life. They don't, and video games. They don't bother me. I'm just like,
I can separate movies. I mean, obviously we can, but
if it's gratuitous enough, then I might get
a
little bit not into it, and I'll be like, okay, well, this is just gross.
Like, we watched this one movie called Dead Body, which was a fairly not good slasher movie where a bunch of kids go to, like, this dude's house in the cabin in the woods. Obvious setup. People start dying. Obvious setup. The one dude, like, we were like, we never saw that dude die, and now he's a dead body. Like, I think he's the killer. And we were right, by the way. That's how easy it was to figure it out. It's like, the first murder that happens, like, we were just like, oh, it's that guy.
It's a movie called Dead Bodies, and you didn't see his body.
Well, you see his body, you just don't, like, the people who also got murdered in that scene, like, there's a whole setup where they're just like, let's sneak away into this basement, and then, like, they get, like, when they, like, they're doing that, and then when everyone discovers the dead bodies, they're like, oh no, it's those two people, and also third guy, who we did not see do that, and I was just like, I feel like we would have seen that guy, like, go downstairs and, you know, just go there. I don't know, like,
yeah. So it's pretty obvious sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you just really can tell right away.
I like the thrill of the scare, but I also like storytelling enough that, like, it annoys me when, like, a horror movie, like, a lot of horror movies, unfortunately, because of how much I like the genre, a lot of horror movies just, like, they just fall apart. It's rare that I see, like, a horror movie from start to finish that I'm like, great, that was great.
They're
it's just like, I don't know why they struggle so hard to, like, just make something. Solantis says favorite horror games. Question mark. He's like,
God, I could.
Well,
say
now we got
many.
the rest. We got the rest of the show booked up now for.
Yeah. So I mean, well, Silent Hill 2.
You play way more than me because I'm a coward.
Silent Hill 2 reigns supreme. That game is so good. Silent Hill 1's also. I think Silent Hill 1 honestly has a better atmosphere, but I think Silent Hill 2's story is better. Resident Evil 7 is some of that dope shit, and that's probably one of the newest, best horror, along with Resident Evil 2 remake. The Suffering for PS2 is a classic. That one's not very cited often, and it's all right. It's like a third-person shooter, but got a really engaging story and, like, cool monster design done by Stan Winston. Oh man, there's so many. Oh, Fatal Frame is a hell of a game. I played that on a friend's. I played that freshman year of college on an emulator on a laptop that we hooked up to a projector so that we would camp out in the one animation room and project us playing Fatal Frame while we were, like, playing it. So it was like a giant wall that we're like, I don't know. Have you ever played Fatal Frame?
I have not.
You know what, like, the main gameplay mechanic of that game is?
No.
Oh, so Fatal Frame is it's basically like you're this Japanese girl. I think in the first one you're a Japanese girl. Yeah, and you go, like, the first one is you go.
Wanted to be one.
I know, right? Me too.
They just seem like they had more fun.
According to the main character from Silent Hill 3, blondes have more fun.
Yeah, that's the phrase.
That is the phrase, yeah. But Fatal Frame is you go to this, like, haunted mansion and you have this camera called the camera obscura, I think, or whatever. Some fancy name for it, but it's basically camera obscura. But then, like, what it is when you look through the camera, it switches to third person mode, but otherwise just like standard tank controls like a Resident Evil game.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you go through this house, like, different ghosts, like, the enemies are ghosts, and they'll travel through walls, they'll follow you through rooms. One's just like a floating head. But what you have to do is, in order to kill the ghosts, you have to go into first person mode and then take their picture with the camera. But you gotta, like, look at them and then, like, charge your camera up and wait till they get really close, and you do more damage if they're, like, in the middle of attacking you when you take their photo. It's like a whole.
It's like Pokemon Snap, the horror game.
It's pretty much that, yeah. And like they do so much shit because like they know that like the scariest part is like directly confronting the scary thing. So like
Mhm.
they have like sections in every single one. I'm pretty sure. Like I played 1, 2, and a little bit of 3, but I think 3. Is there 3? I know I played 1 and 2. But they have like both 1 and 2, and I'm pretty sure 3 have a section where you have to crawl under the house or under a house,
How would they
and
do
then
that to
like
you?
they switch to first person mode while you're crawling under, and then you just have to like crawl through this place that's haunted by ghosts
It's
in
rude.
first person mode, and then
It's very
pull
rude.
your camera out. It's super rude, so scary.
Solanta says, great choices. Can definitely agree about Silent Hill 2 and Resident Evil 7. Fatal Frame, I never played, but it looks wild.
Fatal Frame is worth it, and actually a friend of mine let me borrow her copy of Fatal Frame 2. I'm not sure if we have a working PS2 in this house though. Otherwise, I would fucking be playing that right. Well, not.
You
Right
can
now.
probably, like, I would, you might, well, I guess your computer wouldn't be able to do it, but I was going to see you can probably emulate PS2 now.
You can. You got to download like a BIOS though, and it's a complicated setup process.
You just can't do it on your laptop. And on that note, you see that little bar at the bottom? I'll let it go this time. But yeah. So.
Oh, Dead
Oh
Space.
my gosh!
Dead Space is my jam.
I like Dead Space, but I have to listen to Ian talk about Dead Space all the time, so that's the reason I reacted that way. Like I do like it, but I know you like it on another level.
I'm a fanboy. I am a fanboy of Dead Space. Like Dead Space 1 is so dope, such good survival horror, and like a perfect setting. And then Dead Space 2 is basically like Dead Space 1, less spooky because your dude's more agile and shit, but like they just cranked everything else up, like so it's like everything else is like the moments in Dead Space 2 are way better, but the spooks I think in Dead Space 1 are great.
I should replay those.
You should. Yeah,
I really enjoy them.
We could do like a Let's Play where you just play Dead Space.
Yeah,
and
we could do it live.
That'd be great.
I think we need to do more DrawBomb plays because
I would love to do some of that.
I want to use the channel more than just on Mondays at 8. Which,
yeah.
I mean, what more do you need as a fan? But I'm just, as the generosity of me says.
We're so generous.
Let's do some more.
Hearing more of our winning personalities. But I would love to, like, since we found out that Discord has, like, no latency, I would love to just be behind your shoulder while you play a spooky game.
We can definitely do that. I have a webcam that I ordered that it should get here this week.
Perfect.
And then we might change up the show a little bit in that way. I think we might, if we can get it to work good, we might. Even though one of our most consistent viewers was like, nah.
Yeah.
We were like, but why? What is the? I'm hurt.
About 38 episodes ago, we were like, we're thinking about adding webcams, and like someone who was with us when we did our first run of episodes, like 5 years ago or 4
They
years
still
ago.
watch,
Like,
but
they still watch, but they were like, I'm not sure I want to see your faces, and we were like, that is fair. I wouldn't want to see my.
it's like, okay, but why would you say that to us? What did we do? What did we do to hurt you?
I get it. Sometimes you listen to something that's audio only, and
Yeah.
then you see like who's behind the voices, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
I imagined attractive people saying this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, we'll crush those dreams.
Yeah, 100%. I do want to say one last thing about Dead Space is I love like that monster design for the necromorphs. Like just that concept might be one of my, because I love body horror. I think
Mhm.
body horror is like such a cool fucked up genre of things, but like that the necromorphs are just such a brilliant concept for a monster. I just think it's like the perfect monster concept, especially for a game like Dead Space. And like the unitology like cult that like spawns from it is brilliant, because at first it seems almost heavy-handed, but like especially fucking nowadays I could totally believe that people would be like, no, let's get murdered by the horrible zombie aliens.
It's funny how those opinions change like that.
It's really something else to see. But God, I love Dead Space and Dead Space 2. I've never played Dead Space 3, but I think I bought it actually recently. I think it was like
Should
$5.
play it.
And I was just, yeah. I would love, because you've told me that you're bad at spooks, right?
Okay, so only in video games, because I love horror movies. The more they scare me, the better. Like I'm into it. But video games, I'm in control, so it I don't know, freaks me out too much to be like, to know that I'm the one who has to get away. It's easy to watch some like person in a movie like walk into the attic and be like, hello? Then they're like, oh shit, and they have to run it, and you're just like, you're gonna die. But like when I'm the one who's gonna die, it's way less fun for me. Not it's very fun. It's It's not less fun. I'm a coward. I get scared.
That's fair. I think that's fair. The pukers from Dead Space 2 were very unsettling. Dead Space 2 is so good though. Like the opening scene of Dead Space 2 is so phenomenal. Have you played Dead Space 2?
I have. It's been so long. I played it when it came out, so I haven't played it since. I should replay them. I own them both on Steam, so I should replay them.
Nice. So like Dead Space 2 starts with like you wake up in a hospital bed after you were captured by like the government that's trying to like hide the shit, and like some dude's like snapping in your face, like, come on, we gotta get you out of here. And then like he gets like stabbed by the thing that turns people into the necromorphs, and then he just like his face like starts ripping apart in front of you. It's so cool. I think about it. It's such a good game. Dead Space 2 is like legitimately just one of my favorite games. It's just so good.
I used to play a lot more horror games, so I don't know what's happened to me in my old age.
I still play a lot of horror. Actually, the girl who let me borrow Fatal Frame 2, she also gifted me a couple of... I wanted to talk about these back when I first played them, but we talk about so much stuff and jump from topic to topic on here. I just ended up breezing by them. But the girl who gifted me, or she let me borrow Fatal Frame 2, she gifted me 2 RPG Maker like horror games on Steam, and I'm trying to like figure out what I'm gonna try and draw and tell a story at the same time. But I played these RPG Maker horror games, and like they were a lot of fun. I mean, they weren't like, the one gave me a spook because of jump scares, but like the other one was just like kind of fun, because it's like the one is you're trying to solve a murder of a girl in like your school, and then like the school gets invaded by spirits or whatever. But like they have this bulletin, like both of these games have like deaths where like if you walk the wrong direction or you do this thing or you pick up this item, you just get murdered and you yourself get murdered. Which is super
like you
fun.
Just have to like memorize the right ways to go.
Almost, but like the one lets you quick save, so like you could see a thing, be like, that's a trap, pick it up, get murdered, and then load 2 seconds before you pick it up.
So you get to at least like experience everything the game has to offer as far as...
And there's even like a checklist in the one, it's called Mizzou. She gave me the Mizzou definitive.
I feel like I remember you telling me about this a little bit.
Yeah, and like they have a checklist up in the one corner, and it's a checklist of every death in the game. So as you play along in the game and you get further and you like get murdered a bunch of times, you can like keep track of like, have I been murdered every potential way? So the game almost becomes not scary, but even just sort of funny, because you're sort of looking for these death traps more so than you're trying to
experience all the deaths.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, and like parts of it do kind of spook you because like jump scares, etc., atmosphere, so on and so forth. But like, it's kind of funny. Just like one is you like you go into this kitchen and there's a zombie chef cooking, like chopping up meat of probably human meat or whatever, and then like
human
meat, that meat which you have just torn apart with your teeth, human meat. But like you see like this dude chopping up meat, and then you see a plate of food on the one table, and it's just like, do you eat this plate of food that's just out next to this chef who's chopping up people? Probably
zombie chef who's cooking
human meat,
and you ate it,
and if you eat it, obviously you fucking die. You like eat till you become like so full you can't move, and then he like rolls you over.
It's so good.
It's so good, and it's haunted or some shit like that. You know,
haunted meat.
Haunted meat. But yeah, and then like you die, and that's it. But it's funny because you're just like, of course I was gonna die. Like, what the fuck did I expect?
Fair enough. You shouldn't have eaten that haunted meat. That's what I've been saying.
Haunted meat. The other one I played was called Witch's House, which that was the other RPG Maker game that she gifted me, and that one was interesting because it's not the same sort of setup. Obviously, it was more like a point and click adventure game from the top down view that you solve puzzles in and things like that, with the occasional jump scares and like the occasional moment where you're just kind of like, ooh, I'm spooked right now. Yeah, otherwise, I mean, it was fun. I mean, it was a pretty solid point-and-click adventure game with, like, creepy elements to it, and I always enjoy those. That's almost how I would describe Silent Hill 2, is, like, a point-and-click adventure game with creepy elements to it.
Right. Still haven't finished it myself, but... We played a little.
We played a little. It was kind of. It was funny playing, like watching you play it.
I feel like it's hard to watch someone play a game that you love very much. I think
it's so hard because like
you don't want to miss all the things that you played in like the 10 times you played it.
Yeah, like the first time I played it, like I remember like doing this, that, the other, and like it makes a lot more sense when it was in like when you played the game closer to when it came out because all the conventions of games hadn't been so nailed down, you know?
Right.
So like parts of it just don't hold up because it's just like, well, we expect you to walk down this road for 5 minutes. Back in the old day, that was customary for video games because you didn't have 50 you had to play this week. But in this game, you gotta do that, and it's gonna take you 5 minutes. But then you get the window that tells you where you're actually supposed to go, which you could also go to, but then you won't see the spooky window first. And that was happening.
Slantis was saying, and I totally agree with this, especially because at the time I feel like it was kind of
it was very involved.
They're one of the new ones to do it, but how all the UI and the HUD was all, you know, like it was like all in a realistic
diegetic?
fashion.
Is that the word we're looking for?
If it is, I don't know, but if that is actually what that means, I couldn't tell you. But yeah, it was awesome how like the HUD wasn't like something. It's like you get more like in the game because it all feels like, you know, everything you see is like a very physical thing to your character.
Yeah, like your spinal juice or whatever is like your health bar in the back, and like if you see other people die in the game, you'll see like their spinal like lights go out like you would like your character, which is kind of fun to see that happen too. I think it's diegetic. Like that's the word I would use at least, because when they call it, like, you know, in the Big Lebowski, how all the music is like in the world, like it's on the radio somewhere in the bar.
Not always.
It's, you know,
well, I mean, maybe sometimes like if he's in a dream or something, it's not. But
yeah, that's the only time it's not.
I would have to watch
otherwise,
it to totally say yeah, because I've never noticed that before.
But yeah, otherwise, I'm pretty sure, aside from the dream sequences, all the music in the Big Lebowski, you end up finding out, like, they'll play it full volume at first, and then you'll find out, like, that's the song that's on the radio in the taxi cab.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, no, they did that a number of times.
What they call that is they call that non-diegetic sound. And that's, you know, that's the term for when all the music is in the movie, in the universe. So if it's like a HUD that's in the world, is that a non-diegetic HUD?
It's a great question.
It is a great question. I don't know.
But I like when it's not when when they make things that make the game a little bit more oh shit, what's the word I want? Or where it's like
immersive?
More immersed. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I like about that.
Yeah, me too. Because that is a thing that they were trying. Like, it's interesting how game HUDs have sort of evolved over the years. Because I was watching somebody play the remake of Destroy All Humans that came out recently. Yeah. And I played that game when it first came out in the PS2.
Me too.
I
loved it. Yeah.
You know what's funny is like I thought I was like one of the few people who did actually play that game, but then like as that remake has come out, it's
a well-loved game.
It was a very well-loved game. I did not know that, honestly. But yeah, like I was watching somebody play it, and then they were just like, I think it was a Let's Play my brother put on or something like that. But the person commented like, "Wow, look how cluttered this HUD is. Like, there's like a radar here, a mission thing on top, like a radar, etc." Like it was just like very.
They didn't quite nail it down.
Screen. Yeah,
it's like
that was.
It's like it's something I often comment on where like you play a video game today, and you're like, okay. Or even if a game comes out and you don't have the console or whatever, you don't have the material, like stuff to play it. I often think about it like, well, okay, if I don't play it now, I can play it in 10 years from now, or whatever, or this or that. Yeah. Like games that come out today are going to be replayable forever. In the same way that like something like
I think so.
Super Nintendo is, or something like that. Like they've like figured out the mechanics enough that it's not going to get clunky. It's like it's like if you try to play like PlayStation 1 or like certain like Dreamcast or N64 games where they're just figuring out 3D. Like that's some of those just you're gonna have a miserable time trying to play it now. But
Yeah,
once they
yeah.
like once they figure out like, just like the basic controls and have something feel streamlined and good, it will withstand the like test of time, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And a lot of games, games back in like the PS2 era. Like I remember okay, so this isn't a perfect timeline of it all, but one of the first games I remember that tried to sort of like
Or
break
try
away
one of
from
those
all that.
creepy babies.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one monster I like really remember, like having not played this in like probably 10 years or however long.
I'm gonna just talk about the creepy babies for a second. I love how they set like Dead Space 1 is so good because the entire game, like the idea of the necromorphs is that like since it's like just randomly mutating these people, like you could have any random mutation of people and like that could happen. So like Dead Space 1, when I was playing it most recently, I realized they're constantly like introducing new enemies in that game. Like even in the last chapter, you're finding like tall dudes who break up into like the smaller pieces. Like that's in like the last
That's
two
great.
chapters.
That's a
But the
huge.
babies. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, but the babies, they also set up why there's so many babies there, and that it's like the explanation itself is like fucked up, and it's because you first encounter the babies in the med bay under the prosthetics lab, and what you realize is that they were breeding like clones or baby versions of people or whatever, so that you could cut the body parts off and that's your prosthetic, and that's like in the universe of Dead Space. And then that's why you have a bunch of like zombie babies on the ship, is because they were gonna like chop these, like they were breeding these babies anyways to harvest their body parts. I just
That's
thought
pretty
I just
cool
thought that
that
was
It's pretty cool that they like, have like reason behind everything. Feels very intentional.
it does. Like Dead Space 1 is so intentional. It's really, it's such a good game. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Dead Space. I talk about it a lot. You heard me talk.
Fair enough, though. I mean, I haven't played in a long time, but I remember really enjoying everything about it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I feel like a trailblazer for its time. I mean,
Yeah, it
granted,
was
it's like kind of like Alien, the video game of some sort, or like The Thing versus, or, I don't know, and not The Thing, but like it's kind of like a zombie slash alien like mashup. But as far as video games go, it's definitely
yeah,
one of the first to do it.
like Dead Space definitely owes a lot to Resident Evil 4 in terms of it existing, but I also think it certainly took the formula and like made it a lot better. But yeah, I remember the King Kong game for PS2, but also that came out for the 360 at the same time. That was a game where it didn't have any HUD. Like if you got hurt, your screen went gray. If your guy counted out the bullets as he shot the guns. There was no HUD in the King Kong game, which was like weird because like that was one of the only time I remember people doing that before the King Kong game was in like this really old ass computer game called Trespasser, which was like a first person shooter set in Jurassic Park. You're this lady, you crash, your airplane crashes, and then you're stuck in Jurassic Park just trying to get the fuck off Jurassic Park. And
well,
in that game,
sound like trespassing to me.
It doesn't. You're very much. Well, maybe you are if you're trespassing on like private property.
But you don't want to be there.
No, you don't.
Your plane
the
crashed.
name of the game was very generic and not super sensible. You never got like they never were just like, hey, you're.
Well, I would take a title like Trespasser over like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Colon. Accident. Yeah. Island Escape or something like that. I like the name of just like Trespasser. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Trespasser is slightly more artistic and eye-catching sounding. But in that game, like you pick up, like first of all, that game was also one of the first games I've ever seen that had a physics engine to it. And like this is a game that came out in 1998, by the way, so it was super jank.
Never heard of it.
It had ragdoll physics. It had actual physics. Like you would lift up a crate and like it had physics puzzles. Like you had to like lift crates and take them over to like this visitor center in order to climb up and get the key card, which you would have to hold in your hand and then like stick into like the key. Like your arm was like a big like wavy vestigial appendage that you could like smack on shit or whatever.
Fine.
But like anytime you picked up a weapon, she'd go like 8 bullets left, and then like you shoot it, and she's like 7, 6, 5 bullets left or whatever.
It
And then
seems cool, but also like I would get sick of it.
it
Hearing her
was
talk every time I shot a gun.
yeah, you don't get guns too much in that
Okay.
game, thankfully. But the Velociraptors were fucking terrifying because like the dinosaurs in the game were legitimately like scary because you were so not competent with firearms in that game. But do you want to guess how you knew your health in that game? That's my favorite aspect of that game. Not my favorite. It's just funny to me, but
Didn't you say it was the color of the screen, or was it?
that was King Kong.
Okay. In this one, I don't know. Does she like? She probably says something like, "I feel good. I don't feel so good. I'm feeling pretty bad."
Nope. So this was also one of the first games. This was also one of the first games where, like, if you looked down, you had a body. Again, this is all pretty fucking phenomenal for a 1998 game. This is before Half-Life, by the way.
Right.
So no, she would look. So you had a body. So if you look down, you got a big tattoo on your left breast, right on the cleavage, and it's a heart tattoo. And as you get more hurt, the tattoo like loses color, like the heart squishes down and
Oh, really?
like a fucked up squished heart. But like that was how you tell your health in the game, is you look at your tits.
I have to look this up.
Shit, I'm so hurt. What do my breasts look like?
Better take a look at them. It's sex sells, so it's a good way.
Yep. Still looking good. Oh, I'm dying, but I'm looking good.
I have to look this up. I'm surprised I've never heard of this.
It's like weird because like I also it's one of those games
Did you
where
ever
I also
play it?
think I'm one of the. Oh yeah, I had it as a kid. Like that was one of the games we had on our computer.
What do you know?
It was a janky fucking game. I got so far in that game too. Like as a kid, I got to this level. You got like the super huge tranquilizer gun. The level I got to, I think it was literally the last level, because you're like running to a boat. You're getting chased by 2 Tyrannosaurus Rexes, and like the one kills the other, but then that's chasing you. I could never beat that level. I never made it to the boat, so I don't know what the fuck
You
I was
should
doing.
play it now, as an
I
adult.
would love to. I don't know. Like the thing is, like games that were made in 1998, like you have to either get like the Steam version where they updated all the code so it runs on a modern computer.
Oh
or
shit, yeah.
It's hard. You got
Sometimes
like
there's like shovelware type stuff, like.
There is there's actually a website I found called freewaregames.com or something like that. But like, I found a bunch of the Jumpstart games, like the educational games for kids. I found the Vin Diesel or the Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher's Bay game on there, which is an Xbox game that you can't get anywhere except on that website. It's like just like a bunch of like basically like they're like, okay, well you can't get this game anywhere, so we have free license to just post the install file on our website. So here you go.
Right.
What's it called? I'm gonna look it up real quick. I have a bunch of pirate games though. Games that you can't get anymore.
Right.
Or pirate.
If you can buy them, go for it. But if you can't, then I feel like as somebody who maybe I shouldn't be speaking for people, but if I was somebody who created a video game, I would be hoping that if the options are nobody ever plays it again, or you can get it for free, like a decade after the fact, I would hope people could get it for free.
Yeah.
Just like for the art.
Yeah, it's like
part of it.
Because there was this.
It's like if you made that game, you're not still like expecting to be making money off of it.
Yeah,
at this
exactly.
Point.
1 sec. But one of the things that was myabandonware.com is what it's called. It's called myabandonware.com.
I've used that site before.
A bunch of free games. It's a good site.
Yeah.
There was some talk going around recently because something was getting moved to some kind of vault, like some movie that people either you have to buy it or you just won't have access to this movie anymore. And it's a movie where just like, why would you do this? Like why are you just making it unavailable so that people will buy a bunch of DVDs? And like, I think it was a Disney movie of some kind, but some movie was basically, or maybe it was. I know Destiny 2 is also going to be locking off a bunch of their content or whatever.
Weird.
But basically, in the last couple of weeks, like a couple of big corporations were just like, we're locking off some shit. You can't get it again. Buy it now before you lose it forever. And a bunch of people were just like, this is fucked up. Like, it's art. Like, people should be able to just access art and parts of childhood and things like that. And the topic came up that like Nosferatu the movie. The only reason we have it now is because people pirated that movie. Because the original, I think it was the Bram Stoker estate, the guy who wrote
Hmm.
like Dracula. Um,
You try to lock it down.
they tried to lock it down. They would. I think they won the case of copyright or whatever. So the court said that like all copies of Nosferatu should be destroyed, and so they were, except for people who like hid the film and like snuck it and kept it alive. So the only reason we have like a very prominent film
Yeah.
of the olden days was because of piracy and things like that. So it's just kind of
And I remember doing this report in college where it was about piracy, and the thing that I found is that the majority of the time, where piracy is the most prominent, it's because of convenience. The countries that pirate the most are the ones where movies just don't go there because they're like,
yeah.
it's not worth the money it will cost us to put the movie out there to do it. So they're just like, it's not available, so people will
Pirate that shit.
pirate it just because they're like, oh, I just want to watch it. But then like in places
Yeah.
where there's like streaming services and things like that, piracy is like small because people are willing to pay for stuff if you let them. You just have to give them a
if you
chance
give me
to
access, I'll
let
do
them
it
buy
for
the
you.
product. And that's the thing, is like in most cases, obviously there's always outliers, and it's not 100%, but the majority of people will pay for a product. But if you try to like strong arm them, or like do like a Blockbuster versus Netflix, or like be like, no, we're not giving into this, then you lose, because people want convenience and they want to be able to get the product they want, and they're going to get it either way. It's like, the question is, are you going to help them get it, or are you going to have them steal it from you because you're trying to like hide it from them, or like keep it in order to try to get more money.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting, like a lot of those countries that pirate the stuff too. It's like, where do we like send a lot of our like factory labor and things like that? Like, companies will outsource and overseas jobs, like things that like they can pay fucking dollars to the day or dimes to the day, like what they would have to pay us like hourly or something like that. So a lot of countries where it's just like, yeah, like you can watch the Avengers, but it's like $18 and you make $2 a day. So it's like, what are you
True,
gonna like
also.
spend 9 days of work on? Are you gonna spend it to watch like an Avenger? Like, no, fuck no. You're gonna
Right.
pirate that shit.
And honestly, on that same note, I mean, this is different, but the times in my life that I did pirate things was when I was broke. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
Now that I have money, I very rarely pirate anything.
Yeah, I try and support the people who make
Exactly.
the things I love.
Yeah. Exactly.
But, sometimes you can't. Like like when it comes to like my stuff, like I hope I want as many people to listen, watch, or see the stuff I make as possible. So I'll give it away for free and then like ask for donations, because I don't know, I'd rather people be able to see my shit instead of maybe. Well, I'm also not making money off the shit anyways in the first place. So.
Right. I could see the frustration with just trying to make profit off of your work, your art, and stuff like that. But also, like, I'm just, when there's a balance of, oh, it's going to get put in a vault and nobody can ever have it, or they can, whatever, I'd rather it just not get stored away or whatever.
Exactly. Like, when it comes to like supporting artists and things like that, like I don't know the full story, but there was some woman, she made like a dress. It was like a strawberry dress or something like that. It was in a thing, and then because everyone saw the thing, people were just like, I want that dress. And then they found out that the dress was made by like this one woman who's just like making her own clothing and stuff like that, like homemade clothing that was like very well done, very professional. But one person stitching together a dress takes a fuckload of time.
Yes, it does.
So like the dress was $500. And a lot of people were like, that's disgusting. Why would I pay $500 for a dress? It's just because, like, she made the damn dress. Like,
because you want it, right?
Yeah.
How bad do you want it?
Well, a bunch of people started, like, companies started making knockoff versions of the dress, and that you could buy for, like, $20. And then the artist was just like, hey, could you fucking not?
Like, look, this is, like, the most, like, successful thing I've ever done. Please not, like, take advantage.
Yeah.
Because you have the resources. I'm just a person.
Exactly. So it's like, for some people, like, it makes sense to charge that much because it's a product that you made, that you worked hard for. You
Well, I
don't have
think
that.
as an artist, anything you can get away with charging, go for it. Like,
Oh, 100%.
no shame
Yeah.
in that. If people are willing to spend that, then charge it. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Like,
people aren't willing to, then maybe you should, you know, either improve your product or come down in price, depending on.
yeah.
But if people are paying it, then more power to you. Not, keep going.
Yeah, like, I think we talked about this in a previous episode, but like, we were like, somebody was charging a shit ton of money for like their illustrations and things
Yeah.
like that,
We were talking.
and a bunch of people were just like, "What the fuck? Why would I ever pay this much?" And it's like, well, somebody is.
It's like
they're worth
you
it.
probably wouldn't, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But somebody is, so they're gonna keep. I would, charge as much as people will pay for.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Like,
Know
there's
your
some-
value. If people will pay for it, then that's your value.
Yeah, like there was this dude. This happened like yesterday or 2 days ago or something like that. But this dude came out with his prices, and his prices were like, he does like a lot of comic covers for DC and things like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but you can talk. I guess I shouldn't. I do that a lot, where I'm like, yeah, I know what you mean, but
I know, but I like knowing
talking
that
to the
you-
viewers as well.
I like that that I'm on
Mhm.
board. So if I have a hard time describing something, you
Yeah.
can jump in. But yeah, this person was like, yeah, I charge like $15,000 for a drawing, and some dude was just like, what the fuck? Imagine like paying $15,000 for a drawing of the Joker, and like, whatever. Again, that dude gets paid to do that, so like, good for him. Let him get his bag. But also, like, in the context of like illustration in general, like, that's what people used to get paid to make art for things. Like, nowadays we're just so used to people getting the fuck exploited out of them. Where like Yuko Shimizu has to like charge $5,000 for like a New Yorker cover, but like back in the day, like J.C. Leyendecker used to get paid like a mortgage for
Right.
like doing a magazine cover. And it's because, like, guess what? The magazine can afford it.
Yeah.
The artist needs that money. So like like, if you calculate inflation and things like that, like it matches up to like what illustration prices would still be if like people weren't, if exploitation and capital wasn't the name of the game.
Exactly. Plus, on top of that, shame on me for not remembering the artist's name, but the one you're talking about.
I don't remember his name either, unfortunately.
But somebody in the comments, I was reading a little bit about it. They're like, like you said, it's like, imagine paying that much for a drawing of the Joker. But like, somebody in the comments is like, literally, like, Batman and Superman as you know him, like in most modern movies and film, and are all based off of this artist's design of him. So like,
yeah,
you understand, like, there's like 30 Batman movies. Like, he's a huge, like, and he's like responsible for like, at least in association, the design of like half of them. And it's like, of course he should charge that much. Like,
yeah.
he didn't make Batman, but he made Batman as you know him.
If you got royalties for like his, like, people using like what he
He'd be like
ring
Jeff
blowing up and
Bezos.
shit. Yeah, for real. Holy shit.
I like how Slantis commented out. It just says, "You're fuck."
Oh shit, I forgot the beat.
I know. It's funny because everybody knew what you meant, but you just didn't finish up that.
Thank you, Solantis, for making that joke. That is hilarious. I'm so glad that that's actually kind of a really fun fuck.
Oh no, I'm what? What?
I'm fuck? Oh, you too.
I don't want to be, but okay. Let me use the
Like,
bathroom real quick, and I'll be right back. Sorry to bail.
No, go for it. How dare you? Epic bail, the squid beefed it. But, yeah, whenever I think of, like, when I think of, like, your fuck, whenever I think of your fuck, I think of, like, the Chappelle Show sketch, where it's basically a flip of what happens to, like, a black drug dealer compared to, like, a guy who's, like, doing mortgage fraud or something like that, or, like, financial investment, like, chicanery. But they kind of do role reversal, and like the white guy gets prosecuted. Who, like, honestly, the white guy commits way more dollars worth of crime than the drug dealer. But the white guy gets the same treatment that the black drug dealer would get, and then the black drug dealer gets, he's allowed to plead the fifth. He's allowed to, like, get a slap on the wrist, etc., etc. And when the judge is, like, sentencing the white investment fraud guy, he says like, "Get out of my sight, you fuck," which is just the delivery of that line cracks me up every time. So now when I think of your fuck, I immediately saw that judge saying that in my head. Get out of my sight, you fuck.
Well, fuck. I like when I'm mad at somebody to call them a fuck.
A fuck.
It's so like to the point, and also like what?
It is. I like calling people just like weird thing. Like if you're like insulting somebody, like call them like you rube or even like weirder shit.
You like to use like the old insults, like you had to dig it out of a book.
Yeah, I like olden insults, but I also like calling people just like you fucking bicycle helmet, you like just like the most random object that you could like insult somebody with. Like,
not only are you insulting them, but by confusing them, it's like an extra layer.
What did that guy mean when he called me a
He's gonna be laying in bed. He's gonna be laying in bed thinking about it for days.
Oh, he called me ultrasound fluid. I don't get it.
I don't feel like I am that, but maybe I am.
What personality traits do I have that resemble that of amniotic fluid? I don't get it.
Did you want to add more details to your baby, or should we save this one?
I'm pretty good. I can't think of I mean, the only thing I could add to the baby is like a bunch of like bleeding and scarring, and I don't want to do that to a baby.
Yeah, and that was the right answer. Good on you.
We're good people. We were talking about that earlier in the episode. We do good things.
Yeah. And the more we comment on how good we are, the better we are.
The more believable it is, too.
Yeah. When someone tells me they're a good person, that's when I know.
100, especially like right out the gate. Like you're just like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Greg. I'm a good person." You're just like, "Greg's definitely a good guy."
If somebody introduced themselves that way, I'd be like, I'm not so sure about this Greg guy. He might be an asshole secretly.
Yeah. Hi there, I'm Derek. I'm not a rapist. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was on the table. Okay.
But now I'm going to be watching you to make sure you're not doing rapey stuff.
Good to know to keep an eye on you.
All right.
Get away from my daughter.
Exactly. We got 10 minutes left.
10 minutes? Is that enough time to do a rock, paper, pencil?
Perhaps. What do you think?
A quick one. I think we could do
I feel like the last few ones we've been like, let's do a quick one. And
then it's like 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
But we got 10 minutes left, might as well, right?
Let's do it.
Alrighty. Solantis, if you want, rock, paper, pencil is we both get the same subject and we do our interpretation of it, and then we usually, in a perfect world, we post it on Twitter and people vote.
I've been doing it.
You have been.
I think I just finished I think there might be like a drawing or two, but I pretty much just went through the whole thing now. It's all up.
Well, that's perfect then.
I should look at some of the wins.
Yeah, we should, because whoever wins, they make fun of the person who lost. So if you have any ideas for a topic, feel free to post. I know you said you're going to lurk, so feel free to lurk. What would be a good
I do want to go back and look at some of the past ones and see where we're at. Okay, so for those of you who have seen previous episodes, you might know some of these, might not. Either way, you can go to our Twitter. The link is under the video if you're on Twitch, or it's DrawBomb on Twitter. But so the last one that was posted was when we did the Nintendo leaks. It was Princess Weech versus Long Yoshi. Long Yoshi had 33% of the vote. Princess Weech had 66%. So that's a win there.
You won?
I won that one.
God damn it.
Let's keep
cruising. Who won the Animorphs?
We'll see here. Let me look.
Pretty sure you won Animorphs.
I think I did, yeah. Alright, so between White Light, the green to white ranger, the weird anthropomorphic dolphin, and then the kangaroo boys, Pouch Time had 80% of the vote. Your brother,
that was clearly the best one.
Your brother's Flip Persona had 20% of the vote, and you had 0 votes.
Oh wow!
I'm sorry, but I did like yours a lot.
I like my concept. I go more conceptual than I go for drawing half the time.
Let's keep on cruising. Okay, so then on the redundant clones, You had Audi Ian. Your brother had Spider-Man, and I had Mr. Potato Hands. So Mr. Potato Hands had 0 votes. Spider-Man and Audi Ian both had 50% of the votes. A tie.
God damn. I can't even win for losing.
A tie is, you both got first place.
That's okay, fine, whatever. Okay.
All right, next one. Best mount ever. You did a giant snake, and I did a giant dragonfly. And you got 75% of the votes.
Yes.
So you won there.
It's good enough for me. We don't gotta go any further back.
Okay. Fair enough.
As long as we stop on one that I won.
But yeah, the Twitter's been pretty active lately. You also won Planet Fellatio on the Alien one.
Ah, sick. That's great.
Yeah, you had 66% of the vote, and that was the 3-way one, so
means I got
more competition.
Well, Planet Fellatio always wins in my book.
It deserved to win. I think I voted for you that week.
Oh, thanks. I think I forgot to vote for a couple. I voted for you in the Pouch Time one because that was clearly the best one.
I like Pouch Time. I just wish I would have came up with I came up with a title that was way better than Pouch Time after the fact.
I hate that.
It was let's see here, I can think of it. What? Oh, Walla Boys is what I was gonna call it.
Ah, there you go. I was gonna
better.
think like Marsuper y'all.
Marsuper y'all.
Marsuper y'all.
So what should be the theme of this one?
Man, what are we talking about today? Horror games.
Horror games. Dave. D&D. Piracy. That's it.
Okay. Internet Pirates of the High Seas.
Okay. I don't know I'm gonna draw yet, but I like it.
I'll write the
I'm just gonna hide Ian 1, 2, and 3.
Pirates. Oops. Pirate.
I feel okay. I think I have an idea now, but I feel like it's had to have been done. But I'm gonna do it anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna hide your layers. Beach traps 1, 2, and layer 6.
1, 2, and layer 6. Oh yeah. Okay, that works.
Alrighty. And go. Alright, you got right. I got left. Okay, yeah.
It's usually how it is. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I was
think some
expecting that.
left-handed or right-handed.
Yeah. I guess I didn't know that about us, but I knew that about me, but I didn't know that about you.
I remember I was trying to come up with a cool drawing for us, like for DrawBomb, and I was like, "What hand are you? Are you left-handed or right-handed?" You were like, "I'm right-handed." I'm like, "Shit, that ruins my whole idea." Let's see, y'all. What is my idea gonna be? It's gonna be a quick one too.
I feel like it's usually not me who has an idea right off the bat.
Yeah, normally it's.
I'm always struggling while you guys are drawing.
I have an idea. Mine's not gonna be a pirate aside from like clothing, but I'll go for it. So I've been watching Tim and Eric. Awesome show, great job again.
Yeah. How's that been going?
I say again, but I mean I've watched a lot of episodes of it, but I don't think I've ever watched it like as a concerted effort all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
It's going well. I love it. It's great. There was a sketch about like diarrhea pants that like.
Oh, I love that one. What's it called? What are those pants called? But it's like this old guy talking about it.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite ones.
Oh, it's so gross. Oh.
The burst and
Yeah. Oh, and then like the chunks on the ground is terrible. Oh, I could never draw that. We would get kicked off of Twitch.
Yeah, you can't draw poop on Twitch. I've seen a couple, I've seen a couple of live shows of Tim and Eric. I went to, I think, 2 of them, and
that's awesome.
I was gonna go with my one buddy who had to cancel, so I was trying to give away the tickets, but I had to find somebody that would be wanting to go to a Tim and Eric show. So, at the time, my roommate. I was like, all right, would you like to go to a Tim and Eric show? And he's like, I don't really know anything about them, and I'm like, let me show you some skits, just so you know what you're getting into, and I don't know. I just that was one of, I feel like, the ones that I showed him because I'm just like, that one's a good one.
I mean, it'll prepare them for any sort of gross out humor they're gonna get on Tim and Eric, because goddamn, some of those sketches are just gross.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Poop Tube?
I have for sure. I'm just trying to remember.
It's on the level of the diarrhea pants. It's so that you can shit in a urinal, and it's like this hose that hooks up, and it's this whole apparatus that like goes up your back into your. It's like a shower faucet on the top, like right by the front of your head, and you just walk up to your urinal and just like blast shit out.
And it just completely makes a mess, right?
Yeah, it sprays all over the place. It's like getting on the guy's face. He's like, it's gross, but it's funny.
You've seen the Tim and Eric $1 billion movie, right?
A long time ago. I didn't like it that much.
It was a very long time.
But I should watch it again because maybe I'd like it more now.
I do remember not liking it myself. The only thing I remember in my head about it is there's a Johnny Depp impersonator who is the same one they had from the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And also there's a scene where they're like getting themselves glammed up for their like the moment where they get like super famous or whatever in the movie, and like they're like piercing each other's penises and like cutting the head off of their penises and stuff like that. And I remember being like, oh, I just remember watching that and being like, oh, I did not need that scene in my life.
Right. As much as I love Tim and Eric, and there's a lot of sketches that I still hold a special place in my heart. I love Steve Brule. Like that's like
Steve
the
Brule is
crown jewel
thick.
of Tim and Eric. Like that's
so good. John C. Reilly is just a treasure.
Yeah.
What's this? Everyone knows what this is.
But like, if you go watch that show, it's so good, and it's like, it gets really weird. I mean, obviously everything they make is super weird, but like, it has some like backstory and just like turns into this weird thing the deeper you go in.
Yeah, where like his mom's trying to like put him back.
His mom like wants him dead, and like his stepdad is like a cult leader, and he like.
The show gets really fucking off the rails by season 3.
Yeah, I should go back and watch some of it.
I do highly recommend it. I think my favorite episode.
Solanta suggested, sorry, not to cut you off, but the child clown outlet, which is also great.
Oh my god,
it's one of my favorites.
Here's the poison, but not too much to make them sick.
My child clowns are clean. And like it's like 3 different family members trying to sell child clowns and like competing.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Bobo.
It's just like the products they make are like so. They just hit like this perfect.
Cinco, isn't it the name of their?
Cinco, yeah.
They're like Pasta Bear. It's like a teddy bear that's like filled with like Chef Boyardee. It's so gross. Everything is so like gross.
Or like the pigtail, the candy tails.
Never touch the clowns. Let the clowns touch you. That's what Slant has just said. So good. Child Clown was actually, I think, my first introduction to Tim and Eric.
No shit.
Yeah. Lazy Horse Mattress, another great one. Slantis is calling out all the hits. That's Will Forte. Where he's like working at a mattress place, and it's like it does this really like cheesy like local mattress sales intro like that we all actually saw in real life, like on like the shitty TV, and then he's on the air and he's like, he has some stupid slogan he says real fast, like, I don't know, he does some stupid slogan about how you'll fall asleep before your head hits a pillow, and then all of a sudden
I remember that.
He touches his head to the pillow, and that's like, it's like him like in this.
Horrible nightmare.
He's like having PTSD or something. It's like people ripping his body apart in blood and screaming. And then just goes back to a stupid intro. So good.
So good.
That's like one of my favorites. Easy.
I remember hearing about Tim and Eric a long time ago. Like, I was talking to somebody when I was like on the like AOL who was in the Clock Crew when I was like 12. And they're just like, have you ever seen Tom Goes to the Mayor? And I was like, I have not. What is that? They're like, oh, it's so good. Check this out. And then they told me like where to find it. And then like they sent me a GIF of Eric Wareheim like fucking a pole, like pelvic thrusting against a pole with like his pants around his ankles, and, like he's wearing underwear or whatever. I was like, this is one of the guys on the show, and I was just like, he looks weird. I guess I'll check this show out. And then because I was like really young. And I think it was on demand that I ended up finding it, because we ended up getting like Adult Swim on demand. And I watched a couple episodes of Tom Goes to the Mayor, and I was just like, I do not see
It's like, I disagree about the quality of this.
But then like I saw somebody like, I saw this like forum thread like not long after that where they basically came up with the like, someone was just like, hi, I'm Tom. Someone told me that you're the mayor, and then somebody else responded like, hi Tom, so good to see you. What do you got for me today? And then like basically they went through like an episode of Tom Goes to the Mayor, but like as a forum thread, like each person pretending to be a different character of the episode, and that was almost funnier than an actual episode of the show for some reason. It like when you read it out, it like the brilliance of it kind of shows through, but like the presentation of the actual show is so understated, it's easy to forget like that you're watching something that is really funny.
Yeah, I think it's a decent show. I'm not.
I've come around on it since then.
Took me a while to.
I've seen a lot of bedtime stories, but once I get
bedtime stories is great. I forgot about that.
Bedtime stories is really good stuff.
That's funny.
So that's yeah. So it's been kind of good to.
I should watch it again too.
Yeah. It's really so funny. There's some sketches like, well, my favorite episode of Steve Brule.
So much is not that good that it's hard to slog through.
It's you know what? Honestly though, like watching again, the amount of not good stuff is a lower ratio than I remembered it being. Like I find a lot more of the stuff funnier, I think, because I understand what vibe we're going for nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's still really weird, but like
everybody's out weirded Tim and Eric at this point. That like doesn't feel that strange anymore. If you've watched all of Eric Andre and now you're going back to Tim and Eric, like it's like easy mode.
It really is, honestly. I do love Eric Andre's show so much though too. God, good shit.
I know you do. That's why I brought it up. Like,
yeah.
What were you
saying?
saying?
Did I tell you about how? Oh, well, did I tell you about how we were watching it recently, and then I was like, my brother and I were watching it together, and like he does like one of the pranks, and I was just to Zach, I was like, you know, I love this show, but I'm kind of glad they're not making more episodes of this because these pranks are hard to watch sometimes. Like it's just hard to watch people be put in these awful situations.
Yeah, you feel bad.
And then like I went to like Wikipedia and I looked it up, and they're just like, they shot a new season of Eric Andre show before the pandemic, but then release was delayed because of the pandemic. And I was just like, oh, I was wrong. They still made one.
Yeah, I didn't know that show was still going on either.
I had no idea. I guess like they waited a couple years before they did a new season, but I'm really happy. I mean, I love the show, so I'm excited to see it. I am also done, by the way.
I have to color.
Oh, I didn't color. Should I color mine?
I'll leave that up to you, but I'm gonna color mine. I think I'll go quick.
Okay.
Unless you really don't want to, then we don't have to. We can just release. We can just show.
You can color if you want. I'm just not sure mine's worth coloring.
Okay, fair enough. I'm wondering if mine's like, you'll have to wait to see, but low-hanging fruit enough that either you did the same thing or it's been done.
I don't think we did the same idea, just because my idea is not even an idea. It's just a dumb... Honestly, I just realized you can't even tell what I'm trying to... I'm going to just write an arrow, say, this is this thing.
Okay.
Okay. That's... That's about as I could not come up with a good idea, honestly. This
You
is
came
my
up,
idea
you
for
came
a
up, I was
topic.
gonna say you chose the topic.
I did not choose wisely. My face is melting from drinking the wrong cup.
Oh no. What are your plans this evening?
I don't know. Chill.
It's not as fun now that your sleep schedule is normal.
I know,
Bullshit.
right? It sucks. It's funny. I don't have a job, but I have a sleep schedule because
Yeah.
the rest of my family has a sleep schedule. So,
I live with my parents.
Don't feel bad. I also did that at one point.
that's true. It is nice. I've made a lot of art since I moved
That's
in.
awesome.
Also, my favorite Steve Brule episode is the one about boats. Broats, because he refuses to say the word boat proper.
Well, he says everything wrong.
He says everything wrong, but just him saying broats constantly, like, is just so... I think broats... And I remember the episode about love also being very funny, but I think the boats episode is my favorite. It's episode 4, season 1, I remember that.
Yeah. I've seen, I think all of them. I might not have seen a whole third season, but...
My favorite joke in all of Steve Brule is he's like, doctor to doctor, I brought a doctor on, we're going to talk about the thing. And then, like, this doctor is, like, kind of giving this, like, mini lecture, like, the kind of lecture that you would have a guest give when they first, like, appear on the show. And the whole time he's just there going, like, I know.
I'm a doctor, too. Yeah. I already know.
I know. It's just the idea of having, like, a guest on your show and just going, I know, like, the whole time, like, you're angry. That
Only reason he had him on was to, like, validate that he is a real doctor.
Yeah. It's just such a, like, that weird conceptual stuff is funny to me, like, taking something that's, like, part of, like, just, like, accepted, and then just twisting it ever so like, it's obviously it's not a very new formula, what I'm describing right now, but, like, twisting it ever so slightly so that it's, like, just a ridiculous, stupid thing. Like,
Yeah.
I invited a guy on, and I'm just going to constantly complain about how he's explaining stuff I know, or...
I feel like it got a little too weird for me at a certain point, but one of my favorite things in the early... Season 3 just got super, like, bizarre, but, like...
It gets so strange
But,
in Season 3 and
early on, one of my favorite things was the kind of, like, the stuff that would peek behind the curtain of, like, why is this man making this show, like, in the studio access thing? And every once in a while, they'd, like, comment on something, like, somebody would, like, bust in and be like, what are you guys doing here? And they'd be like, we gotta go! Like, they're not supposed to be there and shit like that. Like, they're just, like, I don't know, like, him and his, it's like his cousin.
The curtain.
It's like his cousin Denny, and, like, they're just, like, this weird, like, every once in a while, they would kind of comment on, like, what is this guy doing on local, like, how is he getting this, how is he making the show? Like, that stuff was my favorite. And eventually, that ended up getting, I think, a little too weird. But
that part got, that, like...
But it was my favorite originally, and I don't know what point I was trying to make with that, but
no, but, like, that's an aspect of the show that you really enjoy.
That used to be my favorite detail. And there's just, like, every once in a while, they just, like, that was the kind of shit that made me laugh the hardest. There's an episode where, I think it's season, I don't know, it's 2 or 3, but where the TV channel hires a co-host, and he's, like, fighting with her it's a lady, and he's, like, fighting with her the whole time. And then
Doesn't she die at the
she
end
dies by the end.
Yeah, because she's in a plane crash or something.
And he he finds the plane, and he, like, digs her body out, and he's, like, trying to put it in the back of his car, and he's, like, crying.
I'm so sorry.
It's like this whole... It's such a good episode. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. It's such a good show. They've done some weird shit.
He wanted to go on the plane, and then she ended up going because the pilot was, like, kind of hitting on her. And he's, like, all pissed off. He's wearing a full, like, bomber jacket outfit, and he's all mad. He's like, I'm the one with the bomber jacket. I should be able to go on the plane. And then it ends up crashing. And I don't know. It's just
so
it's
funny.
so good.
I
should rewatch it.
I highly recommend it. The part that worries me, so I know Bedtime Stories is on Hulu. Tim and Eric Awesome Show is not, but, like, Adult Swim has a lot of their shows on their website. Like, my brother and I actually just watched all of C-Lab 2021 recently because that's the entirety of that show is or was on their website. But like under Tim and Eric Awesome Show, great job. It says expires in September of 2020.
Oh, you
And
gotta finish it.
yeah, well, I'm on we
Or
got through
pirate
like
it.
a whole season and a half. Yeah, right, pirate it. But you can watch all of it on their website, except for like it's gonna expire in 20, like, you know, at the end of this month. And I'm not sure if that means it's gonna go on Hulu or what. But you can't watch bedtime stories on the Adult Swim website because it's on Hulu. So I don't, you know, I think a lot of Adult Swim shows are slowly being moved over to.
There's a lot of channels that do that stuff. Like, I know Comedy Central is guilty of like holding its like legacy stuff. Like, you have to like have cable to like get it through its app or whatever. And it's like, I just want to watch Reno 911, and I'm not.
Right?
I don't have cable. Like, how am I supposed to watch this show? There's no way to watch it, and it's such a good show.
There is like no way to watch the Kroll Show, and that's like one of my favorite shows. Is the Kroll Show? Like, I think you have to have a cable subscription,
Like,
and then you have to
Put
input
it
that
on Hulu or
info
something. Make
on
some money off of it. Maybe
Right,
the cable
like, I don't-
companies give them enough that they have no incentive.
Probably or something like that. But if anyone is able to watch the Kroll Show, I cannot recommend it enough. It's so good. It's just really funny show. I know I talk about that a lot on the show too, is how much I like the Kroll Show, but it's just so good.
I feel like there's things you talk about a lot more. Than the Kroll
Well,
Show.
then let me talk about the Kroll Show. Time traveling bong. I went looking for where you could find the Kroll Show, and I mean you could rent the episodes on Amazon Prime or whatever. But,
I'm almost done drawing.
I still have not colored. I'm not gonna color.
You
I
don't
just
have
hate
to.
my idea so
No,
much.
you're good. You don't have to. I just wanted to hit 1 and 2 because I liked mine. So.
Well, I'm glad you like yours. I'm glad people are proud.
Being very defensive.
I'm not. You are.
I'm not defensive is a funny sentence.
Right?
Because you can only say it in a defensive way.
It's a very ironic.
Fuck you!
That's like one of those like recursive jokes, you know, where it's like the joke itself is a joke, or the yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. It's fun when you
There's
find
some
one of
irony
those.
in there.
It's like when people say something is from the Department of Redundancy Department. That's like one of my favorite jokes ever. And it's not a very good joke. It's just, you know.
Doesn't have to be a fantastic joke to be a
So
fantastic joke.
stick with you. Yeah. Neither does the voyage have to be a fantastic voyage for you to come along and ride. That's a song.
I assume so. I just didn't know which.
Come along and ride on a fantastic voyage. Who did that? Was that George Clinton? I'm gonna find out. Come along and ride on a fantastic voyage. That's a movie song. Come along and ride on a fantastic voyage by Lakeside.
Alright, mine's ready whenever you are.
I am ready.
Alright, I'm gonna reveal yours.
Alright. Neckbeard. That's pretty great. That's a way better joke than I
As
did.
soon as I thought of it, I'm like, well, that's it. We both did the beard thing, though.
Yeah. Well, I did the beard thing because I realized there was nothing about this that made him a pirate, so I drew the skull on his shirt, and I drew the cool beard.
Now, if only we would have combined our ideas. And
The idea.
my
is
guy,
when you
Ben, surfing on a floppy disk.
That would be.
That'd be see, that's why we work together on projects. That's why we collaborate.
Yeah, it's because
Neither of us have a
fire
great
stars.
idea, but we both have good ideas.
Yeah, it's like it's a pincer attack. You know, we both come from both ends at it and find the nugget of goodness in the middle.
Together, we equal one clever
Good
person.
Yeah.
Hang
By
on.
your powers combined, I am remotely clever.
One man.
2 brains.
Let me say this.
Come along and ride on a fantastic voyage. by a band called Lakeside, apparently.
Come along if you can. That's the one that I keep thinking of when you sing it. That's a different song, but...
No. We used to hear that song all the time. Wait, is that Question of Love? Question of Temperature?
The one I'm talking about is... One second, let me look it up. I'm just saving this real
Question
fast.
of Temperature.
The one I'm talking about is...
No. It's a question of... It's a question of... It's a question of...
Journey to the Center of the Mind by the Ramones.
Oh, shit. Question of Temperature? I'm trying to think
Which
what
is a
song
good
that
song.
Oh, the Balloon Farm. Is that similar? It's a question of how... No, I just... Interesting.
Journey
Yeah,
to
dude,
the
I
Center of
used-
the Mind is a good one. But I don't know what
That's
you're
a
talking
come
about.
along journey to the center of the mind.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah, we used to hear that song all the time on the radio at work. There's actually a lot of classic songs.
I didn't
that,
realize
like,
that was the
knew-
Ramones.
The Ramones, or did you say the Ramones or the Rolling Stones?
The Ramones.
Oh wow, that is way more psychedelic than I.
Yeah,
than
most of
the
their music
Ramones
just sounds like four guys yelling while playing the guitar.
24 hours to go.
I don't hate the Ramones, but their music all sounds the same usually. So I was caught off guard by that.
KKK, People Took My Baby Away, and 20, I Want to Be Sedated are pretty much the prototypical Ramones songs.
Yeah, and then every once in a while you hear another one by them, and it just sounds fully like the other two that you know.
Yeah, like Rock and Roll High School.
Yeah. It's just like it's like four like English guys yelling in a studio over guitar.
Four really ugly English guys.
I don't even know what they look like.
Dude,
Look
if
it
you
up.
watch Rock and Roll High School, the movie, like, those motherfuckers are ugly.
Well, good for them to overcome their ugliness.
Yeah.
I googled the Ramones, and one of the main pictures was them all in leather jackets, except one of the guys, it looks like his leather jacket was in the wash too long. It's like 4 inches short. I like back in the day when like there wasn't a lot of effort put into like the promotional material. They're like
you could be.
we each found a leather jacket at the Goodwill, mate. And then
right, like
they showed
the
up
album
like
covers were always just like.
how much? Yeah, it's just like a shitty photo where like one of the guy's eyes are closed. And it's like what?
Yeah.
Like you didn't want to take another
Same
one?
with-
You only just that was it. That was good enough. You didn't want to. You could have taken.
This looks terrible.
How much money did you make off this album? Oh, millions of dollars. Great. Oh, how much did you spend on it? Less than $1. Okay, interesting.
Wait, you get laid how much? Like, what's the band? Loving Spoonful. Look up the Loving Spoonful because.
I know the band, but I don't know what they look like.
Their album cover is also them just being ugly as shit.
I mean, I've been collecting some, not to fully like become a hipster, but I guess I am. I've been collecting some vinyl, and half of like 70s album artwork is just like a photo they took like in 10 minutes. Like one of the guys in the band's like talking, and like the other one has like his eyes closed, and they're just like put it on the cover, and it's like what? Like that? You didn't even like.
Oh, mate, it's verite. It's cinema verite, love.
You know there was no like. It's like when you're trying to take a picture with your family, and half of them are like, "All right, one of those had to be good. We're done."
Right. Oh my god, dude, my family is patient zero for that shit.
It's like Christmas, and that guy might as well get a picture documenting that we love each other, and then like you take one, and they're like, "That's fine. We're done."
What's funny is like my dad knows how to use Photoshop, so I remember the one time. Well, so the one time, first of all, like we did not take a serious photo at all that year. So my dad just photoshopped a picture of mom on the toilet and like in between like all of us, and like that was the Christmas card, and she was so mad. But also sometimes like we'll just none of us will have our eyes open at the same time for the picture, so he'll like Photoshop the eyes from the one picture onto the other, and like like I've seen one where
Oh,
the
God.
result is not good.
That's you don't do that. There's like an Office episode where they try to do that, where they're trying to get a group photo where everybody looks good, and they can't do it, so they end up just photoshopping all the good parts of everyone into one, and it just looks like a
bad. It's like
It's Frankenstein.
it's like those movie posters where you can tell nobody was in the same room when like all the promotional material was shot. Like I had one. I got this one movie poster. It's like Hayden Christensen's in it. He's like a gangster, like all Al Capone type gangster. Oh, why is my enter button? Oh my god, this fucking tablet keyboard is terrible sometimes. Let me reattach the keyboard. Hit the enter button. Okay, Google's just broken. There it is, Takers. Look at this album cover for Takers. Just look at it. Oh my god, it's posted so small. That's...
We can see it. Okay. Oh my god. No.
Everyone
What?
just looks so horribly photoshopped. Like, the lighting isn't even... like, the dude
This
on
is
the
real?
left... That's a real poster. Like, the dude on the left... Compare with, like, the people who are bookending Hayden Christensen, who's the guy in the middle with the stupid
That's
hat.
Paul Walker on the left.
That's Paul Walker? That's hilarious! Yes, it is. But if you notice... The lighting is not the same on anybody. Like,
No. It's on different angles.
Oh, that's Chris Brown in the back. What is this movie?
I don't know. But this is like Photoshop from somebody who's not using... Photoshop was named after what people would do before Photoshop existed.
Yeah,
You cut
there were
pieces,
Photoshops.
you cut stuff out, and then you like layer it and like scan it.
Yeah.
And that's what
It's
this
like,
looks like. It looks like somebody did it with like a scissors and glue instead of a program.
It's so bad. And like that was, I'm not sure if it's still like a thing or if maybe they've gotten better, but that was definitely a thing for like a solid couple years where just like every poster was clearly like combined a bunch of like promotional photo shoots together into the poster, but no one looks like... Okay, so like I'm looking at Outcast starring Nicolas Cage, and like it's the same shit. Like nobody looks...
I don't feel like
Like
anybody
them.
should be compared to this poster. 'Cause yes, I understand what you're saying, and that's a common trend, but the other one is just like, it's like if... Okay, so what I'm saying is if I did it, I'd do a better job, and I'm not a professional poster
Yes.
maker. This
Agreed.
one, I'm not sure I would do a better job, but I also, it's just, I understand why you're comparing it.
Yeah. And now it's stuck on... Is it gone? Is it still in the...
They're both still there.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna hit the undo button because whenever I copy and paste it, it's a nightmare. Tell me when they disappear. Still nothing?
Still nothing. But fortunately for you, it is the end of the show, so it doesn't matter. I saved the drawing already,
Alright, perfect. Good. I'm glad I
and we're all good. Yeah.
Alrighty.
So that's what I call a good episode.
That is an episode where we talked at length.
Thanks to everybody who watched. Thanks to Slantis for being in the
Thank you for
chat. We
following,
appreciate
for
it.
participating. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So
You got anything you want to plug?
so not something specific, but I do want to say that as a channel, we are going to start, I think, trying to do more stuff than just Mondays at 8. Like whenever we play games, put it up live, stuff like that, because we do that a lot in between, and
Yeah, we do.
might as well do it live. So follow us so that you can get notifications when we go up, because we're not going to have a schedule for that, but it'll probably be here and there during the week, in the evening, during the day, I don't know, but yeah. So that's fun. You know, that's what
That is fun.
something to check in on. How about you? Anything to plug?
Well, the album's not out yet. The album, we don't have a release date
I'm
for it. But
excited.
I'm very excited. I'm pretty pumped for it too. I think I showed you the Scooby-Doo type song I made for it.
I got a little bit of it, but I don't think I got the whole thing or the final version.
I can send that to you. But
Sure.
there's a Scooby-Doo type song that is gonna be on there. It's gonna be wild. And also, make sure you tune in every 8 o'clock at Monday. Every Monday at 8 o'clock. I got my prepositions reversed. Should do that, and also I have a friend's podcast. She does a podcast called My Favorite Feminists, where they talk about women in history who are overlooked and who have made pretty decent accomplishments in science and art. And I just think it's good for people to know about that kind of stuff. So check that out.
Definitely.
I think it's a good educational podcast that some friends of mine do, and homies gotta support homies.
That's right. Okay, well, I'm going to play us out. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week at 8. And also, if we stream during the week, you should tune into that as well.
Okay.
I do think, we'll talk about this off air.
Okay.
I'll play us out.
All right. Come along and ride on a fantastic voyage to the center of the mind and temperature.
I feel like you're singing 2 different
Come
songs.
along and ride on a fantastic voyage to the center of the mind of temperature.
Or you gonna get the explosion right, though.
Come along and ride on a fantastic voyage of temperature.
Close enough. Alright, thanks. Bye.